on the ground here. Plenty of room for Kiner. Cory Kiner breaking a tackle, and he's in for the second Bearcat touchdown of the day.
This is 365 Sports.
Hoover protected. Hoover back to the air, and Williams with a twisting catch.
Our coverage of Big 12 Pro Day at the Star is brought to you by Allen Samuels House of Travel, Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, Ideal MRI, GXG Elite, Baylor Scott & White, Southwest Sports Medicine, Edward Jones Financial Advisors Ben Erlinson, Cam Heathcott, and Brad Wilson, North Star Funding Partners, and Batteries Plus.
Sanders downfield, got him in. Horn, atonement, touchdown.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go on this beautiful Friday, day 2 of March Madness. The first round continues. We'll get to scores and have a lot of information about the games that we've seen, scores we've seen. We'll update you on scores, games going on, in fact, right now. David Smoak, Paul Catalina, Craig Smoak. We spent a couple of days in Frisco at Big 12 Pro Days, and we will bring some of that personality and some of that atmosphere back here to you with today's show. One of the more interesting segments, and I think all of them are, I hope, but when 2 former Colorado Stars in Mason Crosby and Cordell Stewart dropped by our location and just said hi. They're in a golf tournament this weekend with former pro players, and we had a great conversation with them. And Cordell Stewart's strong about coaching and letting people be who they are instead of trying to out-coach them or dummy them down or neutralize them or neuter them, whatever the word or phrase you want to be able to say. All right, so Baylor earlier today with the win. They kind of messed around, but they got it done. 4 players in double figures. Rob Wright had 19 points. Man, how about Hubbard? He was fantastic. Josh Hubbard for Mississippi State ended up with 26. Baylor wins 75-72. It was dicey. There were some things down the stretch, but they took care of their business. And the Big 12 with Iowa State winning. And then last night, Kansas losing, the only loss. You also have the wins from Texas Tech. You have the wins as well from BYU, and also the win from Houston. It's 5-1.
My favorite part of the Baylor-Mississippi State game was the part where Chris Jans was trying to figure out how to call a tip-in three-pointer with 0.2 seconds left, because that's like how you could, the only way you could do it.
The only way.
No, but Baylor really, that game, those were very 2 similar teams in the stylistically, depth-wise, and all that. And it just came down to endurance and who was going to be, upright when the game was over, and it was Baylor. Big free throws down the stretch by VJ Edgecombe. Really a really clutch defensive play by Mississippi State, but took probably about 2 or 3 seconds longer than they wanted to when they trapped Rob Wright and got it into the jump ball. And then the ball went Baylor's way. And
they got lucky with the possession arrow, yeah.
Yeah, they got lucky with the possession arrow. But I've seen times in the NCAA tournament where those things happen and Baylor doesn't use that luck the right way. Well, they got those 9 seconds gone and won the game and held on. So a nice win for Scott Drew in the first round. And we'll see. They've got Duke coming up, who's rolling right now. And that will be very tough. But a nice win in the first round for them.
Yeah, I mean, good to get that first win, and certainly beats the alternative of being sent home early, which they've experienced before. I think the program really needed a win with the way the year has gone to kind of add some positivity to what has been a bit disappointment of a season. So they're most assuredly playing Duke. They're up by double digits. I don't think they're going to have any problem moving on. It's at halftime, but that's already a blowout, so it's going to be Duke. You'll get the Jeremy Roach versus his old team storyline, which I know they're probably not thrilled about that, but it is what it is. So, hey, it beats no storyline because your season's over, and so that will have a little build-up to it, as much as you can get in a couple days' time, but I think the program really needed that. So good for Scott Drew. Rob Wright is a guy who I think's on more and more people's radars, and you start to look ahead at next year. And I saw a Baylor fan that said we need to build the team around Rob Wright next year. And VJ Edgecombe will likely move on to the NBA draft. So there's a guy that can be an anchor for you potentially that you feel really good about. And that's exciting. He had a big game today, some big moments. Edgecombe's obviously a dude as well. But, yeah, that wasn't a certainty that they would be moving on. And that's a nice relief, I think, for at least 48 hours if you're Scott Drew, that you are, in fact, going to be sticking around for a little while.
Yeah, Iowa State also winning 82-55. We'll hear from Baylor assistant Steve Henson in just a moment. A short little whip in with him soon after the game was over. 4 players in double figures. The Cyclones roll 82-55. I had a short conversation earlier today with Jamie Pollard, the AD. I've been asked, I think it was retired stockbroker and others, about how the seedings actually go. I might get to that Monday because we are locked in today about just because you're in a play-in game doesn't mean you're a 16 seed, and why would 11s be there and not 16? He gave me some feedback on that. We'll try to maybe bring that to you if we don't get to it today, and probably won't sometime on Monday. So games that are going on right now, Colorado State on the edge, not quite done. 9-point lead over Memphis. That would be a 12 over a 5. Duke, as Craig said, mauling Mount St. Mary's 54-28 at halftime. Vanderbilt up 8 on SMC. That game with 4:20 to go in the first half. Other games are just tipping off. Alabama had their moments today with Robert Morris. They end up winning 90-81, though. So they do end up moving in to the next round. They took care of their business eventually. Just too much for Robert Morris, who gave them a hell of a run, 90-81. Also,
St. Mary's is SMC that you're referring to. That was St. Mary's versus
St.
Vanderbilt.
Mary's College, yeah. So last night, Texas Tech deep into the night with they shot 46 threes, which is an NCAA tournament record. How about Kerwin Walton? He scored 25 points, the first player in NCAA tournament history. He scored 25-plus in a game where he never even took a 2-point shot. So no layup, no dunk, no 15-footers, and won the game. They won. It wasn't easy, but they did pull it away at the end. He had 25, and all of that was from the perimeter, and he did not hit any 2-point shots.
Yeah, that was amazing. And Tech is going to be a very, very tough out in this tournament. They are going to be tough. I'm hoping for a Tech versus St. John's matchup because I'm very curious to watch how those two teams match up with each other. Tech is a really good shooting team, as you saw last night. St. John's, they're not a bunch of shooters. They're a little old school Patino basketball team. They're tough. I mean, it's not like they don't score, but they're not prolific in that. So I'm kind of hoping for that 2-3 matchup if we can get it. Tech is really, they're a team that I think if you're going to go outside the chalk but not too far, Tech is a team that could find their way really, really deep in this tournament.
They have they're going to be in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I don't see them losing to Drake. I mean, I don't think that's much of a threat to them on paper, but, it's the tournament, crazier things happen. But I look at that and I see that should be a win that gets them into the Sweet 16. And then after that, if Memphis gets upset, then you're looking at a 12 seed in Colorado State. UConn's Oklahoma. I mean, if they even advance, you're looking at a collision course with Florida basically in a couple rounds is what that would be. Other than that, you're set up pretty well. I mean, I guess actually Arkansas, St. John's. St. John's would be good. Yeah, I was looking at the one above them.
Calipari and Patino?
Yeah, I mean, I take that back. That would be St. John's. But they should be in the Sweet 16 against St. John's if both win like they should as higher seeds. But, obviously Arkansas could throw a wrench in that, kind of like they did last night to a certain team from the Big 12. But,
dear God.
I think Tech should be booking their trip to probably square off with Rick Pitino and company in the Sweet 16. But you do need to handle your business, so can't get too crazy. But I think you're feeling really great about that, and that was a tough win, but it was a win, and that's all you were looking for.
One of the things about Drake, though, they were not going to get in the tournament. Do you have that one, Garrett? Drake, which won their first-round game, 30-3, they were not going to get in the tournament had they not won their conference tournament, and yet they are really good and had the nice win, of course, in the first round. And now, as Craig mentioned, it's now Texas Tech. Here are a couple of notes from Kansas. Dear God.
What happened with them?
So Paul, we knew this, would be driving back from Dallas to Waco, and he even said, I'm going to arrive about the time the game is over. I see that they're down 3 at halftime, high-scoring game, and then here comes KU, and then all of a sudden the trickle-down effect. They couldn't close it out, and you got to give.
You know what the problem was last night? A group I'm going to call for Kansas fans the unholy trinity, because they were supposed to be so good. DeJuan Harris, Hunter Dickinson,
right here. Yep.
And KJ Adams. DeJuan Harris was there too long. Hunter Dickinson was there too long. And then poor KJ Adams got hurt last night. But DeJuan Harris made a terrible mistake down the stretch when they still had, I think they were only down 1. And then Arkansas took that and ran with it. Garrett, though, got to experience about a 10-second
good 10 seconds, yeah.
preview, or like not a preview, but like a look into my life. Amanda called the minute that Kansas took the lead. And what did she say, Garrett?
She said, I'm not doing well right now, or help me, I'm not doing well right now, or something.
And then what happened?
Oh, she hung up immediately.
She didn't give you a chance to
She
respond. You didn't
chance.
Are you
She
okay?
said, I'm not doing well.
Choking on a chicken
I
bone?
need help. Then hung up the phone.
Well,
that's what it was. But
she did need help.
She's still a little bummed today because the season and her favorite thing has come to an end. But she handled it. She handled it like a champ, a pro.
Well, you got day 2 coming with it. Last night might have been exhaustion, and tonight now you she got rested. Kansas becomes the second AP preseason #1 team to lose in the round of 64. The last one, Kansas, in 2005. They were the preseason #1 team, and they also did not get to the Sweet 16. They've been the #1 team 5 times, preseason #1 5 times, but none of those teams ever made it to the Sweet 16 in those years, which is weird because they used to make a habit, of course, doing that almost annually.
I mean, I know people want to make them a punching bag because there's been so many years where they've been, punching at people and declaring their supremacy and all of that. So it's like when Texas was in the Big 12 and you beat them in football, like I kind of correlated to that, or Oklahoma even, is like that's the top dog in the conference, the one that's won the national titles, the one that has won the most games and all of that. So there's a lot of teams in the league and outside of the league that love seeing Kansas's downfall. It's not obviously a great look for them, but I think the saving grace is, and because I'm not going to pour too much on it because I take a little jab here and there. It's kind of funny, but I have nothing against Kansas or Bill Self, really. I know this year's been a struggle, so I think the saving grace is that the season's over, honestly, that you can flip this roster, because this roster is not it. I mean, Hunter Dickinson doesn't need to play any more basketball for Kansas. Like, I think that's what you feel good about. It's like, at least this is over, this whole little era that we've had here, this era of disappointment, and now you can go fill out the roster in a different way and kind of retool this thing. But, yeah, Bill Self's going to have a lot of questions this offseason, a lot of people with rightful criticism, and, yeah, a lot to prove, honestly, because you can't – you can have ebbs when you have a lot of flows, but you can't have too many of those in that position. Like, you got to be able to dig out of that. And so, I think they're in a situation where they're going to have to dig out this offseason and improve. And this was a hugely disappointing year given all the investment and all of the pomp and circumstance that came with them in the very beginning. So, that's a tough loss and a tough way to end the season. But guess what? Not at all surprising. Not at all surprising.
Yeah.
When you saw Arkansas pop up, you're like, they could lose that game.
3 consecutive non-Sweet 16 appearances, dating back to 98, 99, and 2000. Lost 13 times for the first time in 43 years.
Yeah. Now look, and look, for Kansas fans, if you're wondering, hey, what's the upswing? Well, they all know this better than I do, but Darren Peterson, the #1 point guard in the country, is going there. I think Bill Self is very excited to coach him. I know he is, but he's very excited to coach him. That's the first time he'll have kind of a point guard to mold in the Kansas fashion in a long time because he's had DeJuan Harris for so long. They will have El Marco Jackson, a guy that they really like, back from injury. Flory Badunga, you saw him yesterday. If you hadn't seen him before, he's super athletic, 2-time Mr. Indiana Basketball Player of the Year. And then, there's a couple guys, they got to figure out if Rylan Griffin wants to come back or not. Or, AJ Storr, I think, is probably going to get back in the transfer portal because he made a lot of money and didn't really play well for them until the last week of games. So we'll see. I mean, everybody has a new roster every year.
The Big 12 has Arizona playing tonight. And 7 teams make it. They're 5-1. Today, Baylor and Iowa State, and I mentioned BYU, Houston, and Tech winning. They could go 6-1. That would be great. But you could always count on Kansas being one of the ones in the left-hand column. They're not. They're done. So we should also focus on those who have advanced, and good luck to Arizona in their game tonight against Akron. Now, there's a game going on right now, North Carolina, Ole Miss. They've just tipped off 14-10 Ole Miss with that lead. Vanderbilt leads St. Mary's. That game is early, also with games that are going on at this particular time. When we left Big 12 Pro Days, late yesterday evening, former Connolly and Midway football coach Shane Anderson sent me this text. Cory Black, this was from Aaron Wilson, who covers the NFL. Cory Black from Connolly High School ran a 4.35 hand time, had a tremendous vertical, nice bench for a defensive back, and has private workouts set up, and has already had some he's done. And he popped out yesterday, apparently, in the evening, because that's when they were wrapping up the pro days when we left. Great day for Cory Black.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. He's a really solid player at Oklahoma State, and obviously a standout player here locally in the high school ranks. Yeah, good to see him have a big day. What all we were doing, it was impossible to really keep track. I don't know that the Big 12 also had a very clear setup in trying to figure out.
Yeah, it was a link, but it was kind of running late.
I don't know that the Big 12 had a very clear setup in link in how to show their measurements and all of that. So we had all these interviews to do and didn't really get to keep track of the actual event itself. But he did seem to have a really good day. They finished much later yesterday than we were anticipating. Thought maybe we'd get him, but they were still in the midst of their workout. So, I guess after we left, some fireworks took place or while we were just busy with the interviews, and that's great to see for him. Love that for him, and love that he's getting some attention that could hopefully boost his stock and get him into a higher position in the draft.
Eddie George, of course, is now at Bowling Green, so Tennessee State's looking for a football coach. And yesterday evening, this came down that they were going to hire former NFL coach Jeff Fisher. He's also been in the college game, but then they said no. They backtracked. He will not be hired. And I don't know how this is going to go, but not going to be the head coach at Tennessee State. Kind of a bad look that they announce him and then they don't. Not sure in the end if he gets it or not. But Tennessee State apparently is still at this time looking for a replacement for Eddie George, who's now at Bowling Green.
Well, I mean, Jeff Fisher said he had no interest in the job. So, maybe he's lying or something. But apparently he came out and said he has no interest. There was never any interest. That was according to an HBCU sports story that I saw. He said, let's clear this up. Let's see where it was. Fisher himself, let's clear this up right now. There was never any interest by either party regarding the coaching vacancy at Tennessee State. He said in a statement about his purported ties to the job that was reported by multiple media outlets. With that said, I am 100% committed to my current job as commissioner of arena football. So I'll close it out by saying thank you to everyone who has reached out, and I hope that everyone's enthusiasm about this rumor carries over into excitement about Arena Football 1. So great reporting all around, guys, I guess, for whoever was putting that out there. But that's as big of a rebuttal to that. He's not saying, the little song and dance of college coaches when they're trying to deny a job, even though they've really interviewed for it or they're back channel agents. It sounds like he has really legitimately no interest or vice versa in that job. So I don't know where all that smoke came from. But it doesn't look like there was really any fire to that unless they're just completely pulling the wool over the eyes, which wouldn't make much sense because why put your neck out there and say something so affirmatively just to turn around for the Tennessee State job? Like, there's no real need to burn energy like that. So, I don't know what's going on there.
One of the things about that is, like, Tennessee State did have, like, a change of mind. And if he didn't even get offered it, was never interested in it, they might be covering themselves up. Or so maybe is just one of the two, Jeff Fisher.
Or maybe I don't know where that originated, but we can't just trust everything said on social media and just run with it. But, I don't know how that all trickled down, but pretty firm response to those reports. So I think it looks as though they'll be looking for somebody else.
All right, so that's a job that remains open at this particular time. So we have a bunch of interviews to get to, a lot of them from our coverage at Pro Days up in Frisco. And, again, we appreciate the Big 12 for what they did to set us up, because it was a battering ram in a good way. It was fun. We got a lot of great personalities we got to know that we didn't know as well. But we're about to bring more of them to you in a minute. And the first segment in about 20, 25 minutes is with Cordell Stewart and Mason Crosby, who was in town for the golf tournament up in Dallas near Frisco. And but, man, we discussed Colorado football with them. Cordell Stewart's Hail Mary to Michael Westbrook against Michigan. Crosby, who he always was clutch against not just the Cowboys but a lot of other people. And coaching. Cordell Stewart was very passionate about what he wanted to say about fits, et cetera, recruiting, high school, college, and in the NFL. He also was very passionate about that, too. Right after the game earlier today, just a quick hit, Baylor assistant coach Steve Henson, just outside the locker room, Baylor wins the game. Players are in their media sessions. Had a chance to spend just 3 or 4 minutes with him on the win against Mississippi State. Baylor assistant basketball coach Steve Henson joins me. They just wrapped up what was stressful, but it's supposed to be in the tournament, winning against Mississippi State. Steve, two teams that are very similar, but win and advance. Isn't that the whole thing?
That's the whole thing, no doubt about it. It's never going to be easy. We had some great stretches in the ball game, and like you said, some things down the stretch made it a little more dramatic. But our guys hung in there and fought and did enough things to get it done. So it was pretty exciting.
What can you say about Rob Wright? The 19 points, 4 guys in double figures, some key plays by everybody, but what he did today.
Yeah, Rob was terrific. He's had stretches like that on the year. He's very talented. He's never been afraid of the moment. He stepped up in big games early in the year. His stats against some of those big opponents were terrific. So we knew he's a winner. He's tough, confident, and he was a big part of what we did tonight, without a doubt.
So VJ had what looked like an and one, and they would have given you a 4-point lead if he converts the free throw. That was a delayed change. That was one of those that almost came back to haunt you a little bit. What was going on there? What was the call there?
Yeah. I think the one official called the foul, and the other one came over and called it on the floor. I haven't seen a review of it yet, but that would have been a big deal to get the bucket and the free throws. Instead, we had to take it out again. They didn't have many fouls at that point, so we knew they were going to be pretty aggressive. And then there was another one right after that we thought maybe we got in the act of shooting, and they called it on the floor as well. So our guys just had to be real strong with the ball there because they had fouls to give and they were going to be aggressive. So there was quite a few plays down the stretch that we just had to persevere.
Well, it's going to be dramatic, and it was. The 2 free throws by VJ. He didn't get the and one, but he hit the 2 free throws. Of course, that at least guaranteed overtime, and you end up winning it anyway. But yeah, I can hear the players in the background. Just how this team has had to fight and scratch and claw and attrition and injuries. What does this mean?
That was a big deal. It was a big deal. And like I said, Rob certainly was terrific, but there was different points of the game where different guys were fantastic. We got the opponents getting ready for the next game here. Mount St. Mary's walking by us here. But VJ came out and was fighting like crazy. His effort the first 2 or 3 minutes was fantastic. Langston had a few good stretches there where just drove against Hubbard and finished. Different guys stepped up different times. That's what you need. Everybody's on the rope. We talk about that a lot. Tonight, that was certainly the case.
Were you surprised that Hubbard did not take the shot, not the desperation shot, but the one that could have tied it earlier?
Yeah, we were fully expected him to raise up and shoot the ball for sure. We had the one where Norchad went for a steal and led to a pretty good look for them. So it was not a perfectly executed game for us down the stretch, but we made just enough plays to feel a lot better right now than we would have otherwise.
One more thing, Steve Henson, Baylor assistant coach with me. David Smoak, 365 Sports. They beat Mississippi State. What do you say about this resiliency? A shorthanded team, an 8-9. You were the 9. That 9 usually beats an 8 anyway. But what does it mean to just be able to get another game in at least?
Well, it's a big deal. I mean, our guys fought through a lot. Like you said, we had a lot of injuries, a lot of adversity throughout the year. And then, this is what you play for, the end of the season. And we are playing good basketball down the stretch. Those last few ball games in the regular season, conference tournament, our defense has been better. We've had some really good stretches and I think continue to improve. So this is a great time to be playing good basketball.
All right, that's Steve Henson, assistant coach on the game. The win, you go on. There's a lot of teams that might have played better, prettier, smoother, but they're not into the next. They're not into the weekend. So Baylor does get that win, and now they take on Duke, which is again pouring it on against Mount St. Mary's, and is right now the favorite to win the whole thing.
Mount St. Mary's is the favorite to win the whole thing.
No, Duke is up 30.
Yeah,
and it's early.
Yeah.
And that's one of those. It's weird because you'll get a 116 and sometimes or a 250, and you'll get a game that goes down to the wire. But then there's about 2 or 3 of them that are like 88-44 or something.
Yeah,
like
I mean
that.
SIUE yesterday. Never wants to if they ask them, hey, do you guys want to go see NASA in Houston, the Johnson Space Center? They'd be like, no, I don't want to go to that place ever.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to hear any of the word Houston. I don't want to watch Apollo 13. I don't want to read a book about former New York Knicks guard Allen Houston. I don't want to hear it. It was bad. And look, that's the nature of it. Now look, Robert Morris today had, 36 great minutes of basketball where they really hung with it. And in the last 4, Alabama pulled away. But, yeah, that's the nature of the beast in the NCAA tournament. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug, especially when you're one of those lower seeds.
Yeah, that was they found a way. It was dicey there with like 4 or 5 minutes left. The game was very tight, but Alabama just had too much down the stretch. There's one other college football note that we didn't get to. We'll do it now. SMU, they remember Rick Hart, who was among the best ADs based on voting in the postseason. Obviously, we heard the name of Jeremiah Dickey. We mentioned both of them last week. Rick Hart was fired, and now they get Maryland's AD, Damon Evans. He's been the AD for a long stint earlier at Georgia, and then he's been at SMU since 2018. What's interesting about the timing here, he takes over for Rick Hart. It was yesterday when the Maryland basketball coach, Kevin Willard, blasted him for not allowing some of the budget to be free to stay overnight one night while they were at a tournament up in New York during Christmas. He was told they needed to come back. So he hasn't signed an extension. According to the reports in the story by Jeff Ehrman, Evans gave Willard an opportunity, a term sheet, to sign the new deal. Willard did not do that. Not sure with him out if now Willard remains and now will find more comfort being the basketball coach at Maryland. Kind of a strange look, but Evans now at SMU.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm sure this is a good hire. I don't know. I'm sure it fits. I would love to be the AD at SMU right now. Second year, next year in a new conference, in a power conference with alumni base that is absolutely ready and willing to spend and excited about what their future could be, not only in football, but in everything. And if men's basketball gets going, they'll get excited about that. I was there for a game earlier this year, and they were as fired up as they could be to be back in the situation that they've wanted to be in for almost 40 years. So, I would want that job. I mean, I'm sure there were people maybe you've been surprised that might have called and said, hey, can I get a little interview there? Because it's all about fundraising right now, and SMU's got funds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the whole situation. I don't really know the details or what to take away from the whole squabble. I think with the tournament starting up and that being the big headline for your school, that kind of sucks. It's not exactly what you would want as all this fun kind of stuff is happening, and here you are in the midst of an AD coach beef, and now I guess that AD is leaving. I mean, I don't know. I see too often social media hires are just counted as like, what a massive hire. It's like every commit to somebody, huge pickup. And it's like, Is this a huge pickup for SMU? I have no earthly idea. I mean, before I heard the part that you just mentioned about the whole squabble going on with the head basketball coach, I was thinking, he's leaving the Big Ten to come to the ACC, which is not exactly the way things are traveling most of the time at this point. So that's notable, and maybe that was a big coup by SMU. And then again, like maybe it wasn't, because I see a lot of responses from Maryland fans who are like, good riddance. So yeah, I don't know. SMU, though, seems to be making a lot of good decisions recently. They're certainly putting their money where their mouth is, and they've got a lot of money and therefore a big mouth. So I think that they are going to keep being relevant and very active. And, I guess it just depends on where you're sitting on how good of a hire this is or not. But, we'll see how it plays out. But I definitely think SMU is a school that's in it to win it, and not backing down in any way or worrying about the money effects of all of the changes in college athletics. So it's a place where I think, people will find it desirable, and maybe like the idea of it being a bit smaller and not as big and large of a school. So yeah,
Maryland's a big dude, man. They don't need budget issues, but we don't know the whole story here. Damon Evans, by the way, he played at Georgia, was a wide receiver back when he played in college with the Georgia Bulldogs, eventually becomes the associate AD and then the AD for a nice stretch, and now at SMU. One of the quotes from Willard was, I wanted to spend an extra night in New York this year to celebrate Christmas with my team. And I was told that we can't do that because it's too expensive. So I don't know how we can be a top-tier program, and I can't spend an extra night in New York because it's too expensive. So there's fundamental things I'm fighting for my team and my program. He has success there. He's been there, pretty good coach. And he said he's addressed it. Eventually, Evans, like I said, had a term sheet in front of Willard. He did not sign it. You would think now that they'll take care of that. And good luck to Evans. And, of course, with Jay Hartzell, the president who came in from Texas at SMU.
Yeah, I don't want to speak too much on it because I don't know the intricacies, but it seems like a pretty weird line to draw in the sand of I want an extra night to celebrate Christmas, and you guys won't give it to me, and so now let's publicly have statements out there. So maybe I'm reading that wrong. But
he was asked
whatever.
about his future, and I think he might have gotten into a little bit deeper than he wanted to.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it is bizarre. I mean, that's what a weird thing to have start a fight.
It's clearly not the main thing, but yeah, again, I don't want to be too out of our depths here, but yeah, that seems like a weird thing to kind of put out there and let the public chew on.
He also might have known or been tipped the fact that Evans might be leaving, and so he doesn't have to worry about that blowback. Right. And Evans now at SMU. Women's basketball tournament right now just around the corner. Grand Canyon and Baylor halftime, 31-28. I accidentally drove by the studio. I was going to go and get, I don't know what it was at the corner store. I was going to get gas. I don't know why I couldn't wait till after the show. And I took a right on the access road here off of, what is this, MLK, and stacked. But luckily the lane to get around and do a turnaround was wide open, so I was able to get that done. My alma mater, SFA, within 52 today, but lost to Notre Dame, one of the best teams in the country, 106-54. Wanted to throw that in there as well. Kansas State women won. TCU is winning as the Big 12, of course, in that tournament too. So I've had people ask me this. Do you guys know how the seeding actually works for the NCAA men's tournament, and how sometimes you might have teams that are in a play-in game and how they get not the 16th seed, but maybe they're 11 seeds? You know how that, I've always wondered about that. I've never really asked anybody, but how that is slotted at times.
I would be lying if I said absolutely.
Are you interested in it?
I'm very interested in it. But yeah, if I sat here, I'd be one of those guys who'd be like, yeah, but you tell me what you know, and then I'll tell confused. You if that's what I heard too.
Well, I asked Jamie Pollard because somebody brought this up last week. I think it was retired, and he forgot. He texted me this morning. His women were playing. And so he goes, hey, I forgot it's halftime. Could I call you? So we talked. So basically what they do is they pick, of course, a certain amount, automatic qualifiers that you win your conference tournaments, and then you also have the at-large teams, and you fill out, and what you do is you fill out 1 through 68. 1 through 68. Remember last year Florida Atlantic made that great run with Dusty May. They were not one of the power conference winners. They were a really good team. They got a 5th seed, but they were really ranked higher than that. But that's where they slotted them. They take the last 6 teams among the 68 seeded, and all of them immediately are going to be 16 seeds, or they're going to be the last 4 to play in. But Xavier and Texas were 11 seeds. but they had to be a part of the play-in game. And if they would have won, they would have moved into the tournament as an 11 seed, but they would have had an extra game that they had to win. Jamie Pollard was saying that don't take just because a team is in the play-in game that they're a 16 seed. I always thought that. That's what I always thought. And then they would play the number 1 seed. They don't do it that way. They field it, they seed it 1 through 68. They fill in the automatic qualifiers. Then they get the 37 or how many it is at-large berths, and they slot them into certain, I guess what you could say are seeds, and put them in the bracket. And it's not the way. Like last year, there were 4 play-in games, and I believe all of them had either 10 or 11 seeds or 16 seeds. And that might have just made it more confusing, but it's not automatically you're the last 4 in, so you're 16 seeds, you're going to play a number 1.
Okay. That's interesting, Smokey. I'm glad I know that now.
Well, I feel better.
That's exactly what I knew beforehand.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, no.
Nothing. But I wanted to do that because Jamie was nice enough to reach out to me, so I hope that made sense. It might have made it even more confusing. So we spent 2 days in Frisco. We'll have more of that here in a minute. What were a couple of storylines, Garrett, you two, Craig or Paul, what were a couple of things in particular that popped to you the most about the 2 days we had in Frisco?
I think personally it's the guys. I like the guys changing positions or just doing what they can to get in. Caleb Lohners, Garrett Greens, or the guys who are going there to get a look. Gary Bohannon is not a guy I would have pegged as someone who pro scouts were going to talk to, but I mean, he's super athletic. We know that. I was actually a guy I thought might change positions because of his athleticism. It might still. But those are the things I find intriguing. The other thing is hearing the stories, and Craig did a great job about asking a lot about this with a lot of the guys about how they felt their seasons went down and what were the things. We had all kind of different, from the Garvin Randolphs of the world to Colin Olivers and Nick Martins and guys like that. But those were intriguing things to me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really take away anything from the combine itself.
Yeah, because we really didn't get a chance to watch it much, yeah.
So I don't know, who even really did all that well besides the Cory Black or someone like that. But I suggested to Paul we should probably get somebody on next week who was paying attention to break it down and actually kind of boost up, what was notable from it. But, just some of the stories wasn't always the most I'm sitting there and I'm like, do I want to ask these guys the bummer question? But it's like, that's the most interesting thing, though. Why did Oklahoma State have such a bad season? Who's going to say it better than Ollie Gordon or Alan Bowman? Mm-hmm. And they're not all going to just be totally mask off like Garmin Randolph was, where he had absolutely no filter whatsoever. But our job's to ask questions, not to sit there and sugarcoat and be like, well, let's not talk about the terrible, season that Oklahoma State had because feelings might get hurt or something like that. They're grown-ass men. And so I appreciate that everybody, was willing to be pretty open and talk about their struggles or their triumphs, depending on who we were talking to. But, yeah, just to kind of get the players' insight on various stories from their seasons last year to just the combine process. I mean, I enjoyed that. I had a lot of criticism for Alan Bowman as a player, but I appreciate the hell out of him for the time he gave us, and I thought he was really great and gracious, and I'll be a fan of his as a result. So, I don't know, if you're a Big 12 media outlet that really covers it, and you're not at that event, I don't know what you're doing, honestly. We had Shiloh Sanders and Ollie Gordon, and, we could list off 20 other names that we had, and it was really cool and had 15 minutes with every one of those guys. So I think it was a great opportunity just to kind of be in the mix of those guys and to have some time that's a little bit more personal than just over the phone for 10 minutes while they squeeze in between practices or something like that. You got to really kind of sit in the conversation. And that was what I sort of took away from it, was just the enjoyment of talking to these players instead of talking about them all the time. And so Ollie Gordon, you go off perception off TV or on Twitter, oh, there's the guy who's getting into it on the sidelines, or there's the guy couldn't have been a nicer dude. Couldn't have been a nicer guy, Ollie Gordon. Really enjoyed talking to him. And I thought he and Alan Bowman both were honest without crossing any lines and getting too personal and attacking teammates or anything like that. They were honest about hey, this didn't go right and that didn't go right, and it is what it is, and you move on from it. And I think that was pretty much the case across the board. I'm trying to think, like, really enjoyed the Cincinnati guys. Kendra and who else did we talk to? Was it
Luke Canner?
Canner.
Kendra.
Yeah.
Kendra,
excuse me. One letter off Kendra. But to talk to the Cincinnati guys who we don't really know all that well and aren't really regionally all that close, that was cool as well. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where my head was just nice to be able to just kind of sit and have some conversations and pick the brains of these guys rather than just seeing them on TV doing their basic jobs.
Yeah, and Bracket Cat, the old Barn Cat, asked about DJ Giddens. We'll have him. That'll be posted on our channel, 365 Sports on YouTube, and we'll use that interview and have him most likely a possibility on Monday's show. We just have so much time. He was, of all of them, he was the most, I guess.
That was the roughest interview.
Yeah,
I think.
and
He's
quiet,
shy. Yeah. You could tell confident. But he was very truthful in many things that he discussed. I thought the best part about it is by sitting down with him and face to face, we could ask, like you mentioned, Alan Bowman. I brought up the interception to touchdown ratio. It's a legitimate question. A couple of you that are Oklahoma State fans said, "Hey, you need to ask." We did, and with other players, like for example, Devin Neal, and a bad injury, and he got through that, and how he fought through that, and. I just thought every one of them, each one of them had their own personalities, and all of them, and that needs to be seen by the pro scouts, because you can get the bad rap of being solemn, sullen, standoffish, unfriendly, whatever.
Well,
none of them gave us that thought. Not one of them.
I got a tweet this morning from someone that said, "Hey, there's a lot of media here in Dallas, but nobody covered that. Thanks for interviewing all those players," because there's a lot of people I think out there interested in hearing, longer form interviews with guys like that. And I think especially before the draft, it's really interesting to talk to guys about their story and hear it. And if I'm an agent, I want my guy out there because I'm going to have to sell him if he gets popular enough and somebody calls me and says, "Hey, I want Devin Neal to sell my energy drink," then I want to know, like, yeah, Devin Neal's got a great personality. That's somebody, I want Tyler Batty to wear my shirt, like those things. You've got many examples of them, like, hey, look, this kid's great. We're not going to have to coach him much up at all,
I don't know where local TV was. I don't know if I even saw them or not, but I'll say that the radio, like the Fan in Dallas, is not a college football place go to, nor is the Ticket in Dallas. I mean, they talk college football sometimes, but they are not, like, they don't care about the Big 12. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll talk Georgia, Alabama, or they'll talk the big game in the Big 12 when the time comes, but I don't think they have any interest in going and telling the stories of guys. That's just not what they do. It's not a knock on them. It's just not what they do. They would much rather, and it's probably better for their book if they talk about Jerry Jones for 2 hours. Like, that's just what their audience does. So that's not really their place. Like, I know the Ticket was at SEC Media Days, which, I think the Oklahoma-Texas joining of the SEC does slant some of the bigger media in this state undoubtedly towards that direction, and they'll pop into that. But, yeah, I don't think it's of interest to them, and I can't speak for other outlets that actually cover the Big 12 or anything like that. But, hey, it was great for us, so your loss. And I think that if you're somebody who debated on going, that you could talk – I mean, I didn't think we were going to talk to Shiloh Sanders, and we did, and there were some guys that we missed out on. Like, we didn't get to talk to Shador or Brett Yormark or, a couple people maybe we were hoping for, but we got like 20 people that were all great, like an Ollie Gordon, like a Tyler Batty, whoever that we talked to. There's so many names that we talked to that were all great. And so, yeah, that was definitely in our wheelhouse, and we enjoyed it. And I appreciate that there wasn't as many people there because it made it a lot easier to get everybody and just kind of stack them rather than they were all spread out and having to wait on them to do their interviews elsewhere and finish up. It made it a very seamless process where Faith was like a freaking, like what's the machine when you're pushing your groceries, like a conveyor belt. Like she had like a conveyor belt of guests that were just rolling in without any interruption, basically, and that was great for us. So yeah, it was a fun event. I think those who this is their wheelhouse did miss out. So I'd encourage them to look into it next year because there's a lot of great interview opportunities and a lot of guys that we got to know a lot better than we knew them before the week started. So that was great.
One of the things that, Paul, tell everybody where they can find the interviews. If they didn't get to watch yesterday or they don't get to watch today or whenever.
Just go to the channel and search them. I mean, they're right there. They'll be up in the – you know what? I'm going to have Emory create a playlist for it as well so you can find it. I'll have him do that right now. There'll be a Big 12 Pro Days playlist that we'll leave up for about a week right there at the top on the main channel.
And for the K-State fans, the interview with DJ Giddens will go live on this channel, on our channel side page at 6:30 tonight. Emory has that scheduled to get that done.
Emory sarcastically just texted me already a playlist.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So there should have been that there that you've seen, but nice job by Emory in gathering all those interviews, and he had that ready to go. So good on him, and enjoy the interviews that we'll have coming up. We certainly had a pretty productive couple of days, and it was a good event by the Big 12 just to be able to enjoy a couple of days outside of the studio and talk to some fun folks and have some fun conversations. So, it was great.
Last thing, when Yormark walked into the Omni on his way into the Star, he was there, Clark Williams, his media liaison, and I stopped. We both said a couple of things. He goes, I remember interviewing with you guys over on the railing. I go, well, yeah, and we're here again today. He goes, I'm traveling because he was going to be in Raleigh and then he's going to be in Wichita, wherever it was last night in Raleigh and elsewhere. But we're going to get him, and we're not going to wait much longer to get him. We're going to get him pretty soon. Let's give you a couple of score updates, and then we will start a lot of interviews, including the one we've mentioned with Cordell Stewart. So impressed with him and Mason Crosby. Duke now up 32 on Mount St. Mary's. They'll get Baylor, who beat Mississippi State by 3. Vanderbilt, early second half, leads St. Mary's 31-24. That's a 10 against a 7. Ole Miss 41, North Carolina 23, late first half. That game is a blowout for right now, a long way to go. And that might do it. That does it. Plus the games we mentioned from earlier. Baylor won, Alabama won, Iowa State won, and Colorado State, the 12 seed, beat 5th seed Memphis. My bracket's actually not bad. It's not bad. I usually by the end of the first afternoon, I'm bloodshed. Like a chemistry test when I didn't study.
I'm feeling good about overall. I got all of the first round, like the first games that were on yesterday until Kansas right. I got all those right, and then I missed I missed 3.
What happens when you feel pressure to
pick a
team?
I listened to Clark Kellogg and Seth Davis too much about Yale. And I've watched A&M enough this year.
You picked Yale?
I picked Yale.
I think a lot of people probably
I picked Yale. I let them talk me into it, and I was like, I just watched A&M beat Auburn and beat the pants off Auburn a couple weeks ago and then lose to Texas, and that's like a Svengali thing when it comes to A&M and Texas. So I overthought myself on that, and I wish I could go back. And I picked UC San Diego over Michigan because Michigan was so painfully boring.
They were really hard to watch, yeah.
I maybe picked out of them for spite, it's like if I was on the Oscar, the Academy of Motion Pictures, and they made me watch a movie that was 3 hours long and really boring, and then they told me it was all artsy, I'd be like, no, I'm voting for the action movies for spite because I had more fun watching that one than I did this 3-hour thing about a woman knitting. There were a couple of games that were ugly to watch, and there's some right now going on that are one-sided too. All right, so Garrett, what do we have coming back?
We'll have Cordell Stewart and Mason
Crosby. Jaylen Conyers, Devin Neal, McKai Bernard, Philip Wilder. He was fun. Mickey Spagnola, Cory Kiner, the top 5. And, yes, DJ Giddens and more. We will have those. Thanks again to all of our sponsors for our coverage of Pro Days. But we're not done. We continue right here at 365 Sports on this Friday, March 21st, and day number 2 of the NCAA tournament. Well, how about this? Alan Samuels, the inside scoop on unbelievable car deals right now. Kick off your adventure with a new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. Originally was $64,910, now $47,999 plus tax, title, and license, which also means you save $16,900. If you're eyeing the Jeep Wrangler, Sahara, or Rubicon, you're in luck with $11,000 off MSRP during their Jeep Celebration event, and also showcasing the best in Jeep Wagoneers, Grand Wagoneers, Wranglers, and a great car as well in the Grand Cherokees. It's also, and it's every day. It seems like every month, Ram Truck Month. How about the 2025 Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab, $11,780 off or haul-in style with the new 2024 Ram 2500. That's an Alpha for just $43,732 plus tax, title, and license. Need financing? They have it for you. Unbeatable 1.9% for 72 months on the new Ram 1500 and $4,000 rebate and 3.9% financing for 72 months. Alan Samuels, CEO and General Manager Ted Teague, the sales manager David Gray, Loop 340 east of 84 in Waco.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Ready to take your business to the next level? Carrion Solutions has got you covered. We deliver world-class IT consulting, including Quest On Demand and Migration Manager, M365 and Exchange migrations, Active Directory assessments, security hardening, and Windows Server upgrades. Our experts specialize in consulting, monitoring, support, and managed IT services. We promise vision, professionalism, and unbeatable value. Satisfaction guaranteed. If you're not happy, we make it right. Remember the name Carrion Solutions. For more info, email sales@carrionsolutions.com or visit carrionsolutions.com. That's CARRION solutions.com. Carrion Solutions IT success guaranteed.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
This is 365 Sports. Text us at 254-339-1122. The text line is sponsored by Riverbend's Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
Couple of greats, Mason Crosby, Cordell Stewart with us at Pro Days, NFL Pro Days, Big 12. And, well, we'll start with, you guys are here to play golf.
That's right.
Bridgestone hat on?
Yeah, that's...
Tell them about it.
I'm an accidental brand ambassador. I like to say accidental because sometimes I shouldn't be a part of it. But, seriously, I'm a brand ambassador with the brand. Play with the Tour B RXS golf ball. They also came out with some irons, the 221 CBs and the drivers and all that fun stuff. So we're here for the Pro Arrivals tournament.
You guys, is it a 3-round deal? Is that right?
Yeah,
3-round deal?
Yep, we'll play 54 holes, and it starts tomorrow in the wind. So.
Oh no, yeah, there's wind.
Yeah,
you
a little wind.
Been here yesterday. I was walking. Okay, I was walking to my car just to go get something.
Did you make it?
It barely. I dodged a couple of windshields, but this lady goes, "This is like Chicago."
Yeah,
like playing in Chicago.
It's crazy.
So it's a 54-hole tournament.
Yes.
Where are you playing at? Because there's godforsaken beautiful courses everywhere.
We're playing up north at Fields Ranch East, where they'll host the PGA Championship.
Yep.
The women's this summer, and then I think the men's in 27.
Yeah.
And so a field of 48 former and current football guys, NFL guys, and it's going to be good. There's going to be some good, bad, and ugly out there, I think.
Well, especially with the wind, even if you're what's your handicap?
Handicap.
Okay.
Straight up.
Mason, as a kicker, you're pretty accurate, right?
I try to be, and I think it's. I had a lot of experience. You mentioned Chicago, dealing with wind there, dealing with wind in Lambeau Field. So I think I get a little more comfortable whenever it's blowing. It's like you just you got to lock in a little bit more, focus in a little bit more. It's a little tough when you're on that green though, and that ball is wobbling.
So what do they call it? It's not rotation. What are they oscillating?
Oscillating.
Let
Yes,
me tell you guys something. You can talk all this stuff you want, but when that thing is howling from the northeast side and you hit it in that direction like a draw, you're a right to left person.
Exaggerates.
It goes 100 miles per hour. I mean, you can't. He tells you to aim in the bushes, literally out of bounds.
Like you're aiming out of bounds to get it inbound.
To get it to come back inbound.
I love it.
You can't control it.
No.
You can try, but you can't.
Mason, why are kickers the best golfers normally? I mean, I don't know if you remember Al Del Greco back in the day.
Stick.
He used to, in the Pebble Beach, he would dominate. Or anytime you saw a celebrity golf tournament where there's guys that are like, I'm just drinking beers, and I met the dude from Melrose Place. Al Del Greco's like, I'm going 19 under. I don't know what you guys are
That's
doing.
right. You're going out there to win, and guys like Cordell and every other football player would probably say just because we have so much time on our hands and don't actually do anything.
Don't forget about the quarterbacks.
The quarterbacks are good
you got
too.
The Mark Rippons of the world.
There was a Rippon. There was a time when Steve
quarterbacks and kickers.
back in old school.
I think you can just say quarterbacks and kickers probably the best athletes on the.
I've always thought that, especially if you're from Georgetown.
Exactly, being from Texas as well. Exactly, so I know how to grind in this wind a little bit.
Don't forget about Sterling Sharp.
Oh, yeah.
Marshall Faulk.
Was he a stick? Yeah.
Marshall
Faulk. You know who was addicted to golf when he was an NFL player was Emmett Smith.
He
took himself from bad to where he got to be a pretty good player. Yeah.
Patrick Peterson's pretty good.
Patrick Peterson's a great player.
Nice. Jerome is playing well.
Absolutely.
He's hit a nice few great shots out of playing in the Tahoe tournament at
Nice.
the end of the year. Those guys play for Brian Urlacher's here. He's another one of the good sticks. Aaron Rodgers, he's not here, but he's another good stick quarterback. Right?
So some of these guys are playing here with you guys this weekend, right?
Yeah. John Elway's going to be up there. Urlacher, Matt Ryan's playing.
God, that wind's going to be blowing even harder tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
going to be. Yesterday's practice round was the windiest. Literally ball blowing off the tee before you're hitting your drive. And I don't know if I've ever seen that before. It was insane.
How much does being competitive at your levels in college and in the pros, how much do you need that fix by playing golf and being competitive in golf, whether you're struggling in the game or not?
I just think mentally everything has been such a challenge playing football. Where you have to, everything is time oriented, right? So when the season ends, you probably take a month off, maybe 2 months, and then you start back up. And then you have that springtime where you're working out, you got the maxes on your bench presses and your squats, and you have to run the 40, and then you get that small window, and then all of a sudden now you have to go to camp. All of those small pieces of let's just say jewels that you get, it's the same thing in golf. You want to work with your chipping, you want to work with your putting, you want to work with your short game, you want to work with your long irons, your drivers, and you break it up incrementally the same way you do with a season in how you practice. So you take that philosophy in your psyche and you try to apply it, because it goes from moving parts to now nothing moving at all but you. And if something is off just a little bit, you don't know where it's going to go.
It's a decimal of where you hit it on the club face.
Even less, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, your elbow flies out or whatever.
So that's the good thing for the pros. Am I right?
Yeah, and those competitive juices. I mean, you stand over a 4 or 5 foot putt, and it's like you almost find yourself wondering, why does this feel like such a big moment?
You're trying to hit it into a smaller hole than the ball is.
Yeah, it's like, all right, let's just lock in. You do, you dive back into your breathing. You do all your stuff. And so I think some of that it's really good to just kind of keep that competitive juice going. It was always something that I did playing, in the NFL as well. Like going and playing golf was it was downtime, but it was also like it was a way to practice on how to lock in that moment and have those moments of just really locked in focus. Yep. And I've never had a bad day on the golf course. I've had bad rounds, but you're outside. You're usually a beautiful place. Like you're able to even if it's windy, green grass, and you're out there getting to hang out. And I love the relationship side of it. We get to hang out with guys that we don't see all the time. And how the pro has set it up. They gave us an awesome locker room up there at the Omni, where the PGA headquarters is, and it felt awesome. You go in there and you're like, man, I'm going back into a locker room, and it's like everybody's in there doing their thing. You had a buffet lunch. I'm like, oh man, it's like we're on the road. It's an away game right now.
Yeah, big time. It's like with the game, especially with the football players in particular, because everything's physical with us, right? Mm-hmm. It's you have to start processing everything to it's like it turns into a mindset of how do I see it, trust it, and react to it, right? Same thing with Bridgestone. Right? And I'm about to name drop it.
He's got a little plug.
I'm about to drop it, right? So it's like when, Jason Day with the golf ball, you see the little logo on the side. Yep. Have the mindset, right? The outer lay of that design that's on the golf ball, the orange, it indicates seeing what you need to see to then identify where you need to hit it, to then reacting to what you're doing. It's the same thing for a place kicker. It's the same thing for a punter. Oh. It's the same thing for a field goal, when Mason does his thing. It's like if the wind is blowing really hard from the right, he sees the flag on the uprights. Yep. He knows how his trajectory needs to be in order to make sure it doesn't move too much. It's like lowering the flight on your golf ball when you're actually hitting those shots going into the greens. He does the same thing with football with me. Yep. If I'm throwing those hitch routes, or I got to know where the defender isn't and throw it to that spot. So it becomes everything that we do actually indirectly on the football field and how we prepare. And it's identical to whether it's the locker room to how we prepare and how we play. It's just identical same thing.
I think there is also something about golf and, all the stories of like Tiger trying to chase perfection and do all of that. Like we played football at a high level. Yes. All these guys, and like golf is the most humbling game in the world. So
ever.
As professional athletes,
exhilarating and yet gut-wrenching.
It hurts. You've gotten to the top of it all, and then like you can go on the golf course and you're like, I know what I can do, but it just can go really bad, and quickly. I think that keeps you chasing. Like the chase is worth it.
If you miss that first 4-foot putt for par, you're going to miss 3 or 4 more. You make it, it's
you got to rebound quick.
You guys are both Colorado Buffaloes.
That's right.
What does it feel like now in the renaissance of this program with Coach Prime and the excitement that's around it, and having a defending Heisman Trophy winner, having probably definitely 2 top 5 picks in this draft, and some really good players after today.
Yeah. You want me to go? Yeah, so it's been awesome. It's been awesome just to have Colorado's name back out in the media and in the public eye. And Prime's doing just such a great job, and he's doing it the right way. It's like I want to have good student athletes that do it the right way. You're going to kind of do it the way that it needs to be, done, the Colorado Buffalo way. And it's been awesome seeing them back, in the Big 12 conference, because it's like that's where all my memories are is coming through this conference. And it's going to be fun to see where Travis and Shedeur go, and what their journey is going to be. And now I'm excited to see Prime without his son, without like the guys that he brought with him to see what he does and how he builds it there at Colorado.
He can't just make another one for at least 18 years.
Nothing else coming out.
And the crazy part about that is he's been with his kids for so long.
Since the high school in Dallas. Yeah,
I just remember when I was in Baltimore for the few years he came out of retirement. And I remember when he used to come in with his family, I would see Shedeur and Shiloh, and I'm talking about little bitty
ankle biters.
Kids. Oh, seriously. I mean, well-mannered, good-looking kids as we see them now, and to see them travel with their dad the entire way, going to Jackson State to then going to Colorado and transitioning this institution back to winning ways, it's pretty remarkable. And if you think of Travis Hunter being a Heisman Trophy winner, remember, we had Rashawn Salam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so to be able to see the greatness be recognized again at that institution, we now have 2 Heisman Trophy winners.
Yep.
No one really talks about that. And it's not too many institutions around the country that can say they have 2 Heisman Trophy winners. And to be able to have that kind of conversation, and Coach Prime has his hands all in the middle of it, it's beyond good because it's relatable for us as former players in the National Football League, and he knows how to give to these young men in ways that he knows he wish he may have gotten it when he was playing.
Yeah.
Whether it's the meals, whether it's the attention to the details of, showing everyone on social media, because now social media is a big thing now, right?
Yeah.
Look at the GPA. I mean, he loves to emphasize how the mark is being upgraded over and over again within the same program that he's in, with the grades going up all the time and it having GPAs that's like 3 point whatever to 4.0, and it's pretty good, man, because kids can get distracted now. You got NIL, you have at home class you can take
portal, people tampering,
all of that, and for him to hold on to it and have a strong hold on it to the point where he has Rick George as our AD, has his vision in his mind. It's pretty impressive.
I think that people think of Deion when he was at FSU. He's an FSU grad in the prime, to all the stuff, Atlanta, and then the 49ers, Cowboys, eventually Washington and Buffalo. And I think everyone just thought that that's who he would be as a coach. He's not. I love watching, in a way, I love listening to his press conferences. First of all, I kind of like his how he speaks. I have been so happy that he seems to have the grit, the foundation, the discipline, and I think a lot of people thought they'd never see that with him, but he's learned from who he was, and I think he's done a great job.
But
no question.
Is it kind of like, though, like you played with him? Is this like prime? Like it's like Bruce Wayne and Batman. There's like the front facing thing that, especially when he was a player, there was kind of the front facing bravado. But I mean, you hear about him, and like every teammate he ever had said, like, this guy will go to war with you, and he's
relatable, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
As being pundits of the game, right? And you having to cover everything. You have your conventional reasoning and wisdom, and you have your unconventional wisdom that we never truly tap into. It becomes an odd situation when you see a Cordell Stewart, if you will, being able to catch it as good as everyone. He throws it better than half of them, but yet he could run it just as good as the backs you have on the field, and he can punt it. So now how do you cover that? How do you truly, in a conventional way, say how great that talent is, but you have a tendency to want to pigeonhole it to try to determine how you grade it, but you can't pigeonhole it. Leave it alone and let it be. And I think Prime has done a phenomenal job of being his most authentic self, to where it forces you, if you're not unconventional in your thinking, to become unconventional when you're processing it. Because the words that we choose to use is not what you say, it's what you don't say when covering it, but is as authentic as it. You can't even put it in one corner. You have to say he's expressing himself as I know we would talk behind the scenes, but yet we'll get on the mic and tell you something different. How you guys talk behind the scenes, and you get on the mic and ask the question differently. He does it exactly the way he wants to say it, without maybe saying 2 or 3 words that can make him go another way. But he keeps it as good as he can.
You brought up your career, and I find it funny when I read all these draft pundits and they're trying to tell you what they think Travis Hunter is. To me, that's the dumbest thing you can do with Travis Hunter. Why didn't you just let him be Travis Hunter and then clean up what needs to be cleaned up? That's the simplest thing.
Let me say this one, because I'm gonna give Mason a run. I don't want to hog it, because
no, you keep going. I love hearing you talk.
Here's the thing: there's too many damn gurus.
Yeah.
Okay, when we're in little league, we're just coaching. In middle school, we're just coaching. We get to high school, we're coaching. College, we're creating the greatest plays and the most fun you can ever see. We get to the pros, it's the same coaches. Well, all of a sudden, you just forget how to coach. And no one wants to coach. They just wants to give you the playbook, get their money, and let you go. They don't want to take the time. You're not teaching them anything. You have to coach them, because they already know. That's why they got there. That's why they're so talented. Well, all of a sudden, we get to the league. Unless you're working on your own and doing your own thing, players like the Travises, the Cordells, even the Taysom Hills of the world, the Lamar Jacksons, if you don't have the right type of coach around, you can screw it up, because the talent is so good. Now we have to say, well, it's not good enough in the National Football League. We just want you to play cornerback. Yeah. Really? He's a Heisman Trophy winner. There's a reason why he was so great doing what he's doing. Now he gets to the league. So then you say, okay,
you want to neuter him or something.
Seriously, it's almost like you're saying, because the money only subject you to be able to, get this amount, you only can do this much. Stop it. I didn't let Coach Cowher stop me from being myself. I didn't let Kevin Gilbride stop me from being myself. That's why when we were getting hurt early in 95, I was like, Coach, whatever we need to do to let me help, I'll help. They didn't ask me to play receiver. I voluntarily said, I'll help out. And my very first play from scrimmage was 5 wide receiver set. We had Neil O'Donnell next to Yancey Thigpen on the 2 receiver side. We had 3 on this side. Quarterback draw. No one was in the middle of the football field. It's 3rd and 15. I scrambled for 19 yards to get a first down. The next week, we play against Cleveland. I scramble this way and run back the other way, throw it to Ernie Mills in the back of the end zone. Touchdown. Now, that's 2 quarterback plays. So then I start beating Rod Woodson in practice and Cornell Lake in practice and, Willie Williams. And before you know it, Myron Cope calls me Slash. Hi, the late Myron Cope.
Absolutely.
And before you know it, it becomes a phenomenon. And then no one talks about it, but we're seeing every quarterback in the draft. 15 of them are athletic quarterbacks, not just black or white. They're athletic quarterbacks. And all of a sudden, they become gurus today. You better start saying my name. I'm going to get crazy. I need some money.
Hey,
reparation is real.
Slash, they've been chasing, trying to get you again.
They just need to get me to come talk about it.
But they won't, they don't want to admit it. You're right. They don't admit it.
They drive me nuts.
But again, it's like with Travis.
I can't take it.
With Travis Hunter.
They won't say it.
I can't help it. It drives me nuts.
Just let him go.
Oh, my God.
Let him do what it is.
And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this mess. And I'm saying to myself, you guys are screwing the game up so bad to where you're subjecting these great players coming from high school, college, to either have to change or not even be themselves because you don't know how to coach it. But you've coached it before, but you get to the National Football League and you lose your mind.
What if somebody in Japan 10 years ago had been like, listen, Shohei, just pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yes,
Exactly right.
Just
seriously.
seriously.
Yeah.
And instead of changing them, and it gets to the point where if you can't change to fit what only they understand, you're the problem. That's not the case.
Yeah, try to put a circle in a square, square in a
100%.
circle.
You've seen too many guys and players, and probably in all sports, men and women, that if you get kind of pigeonholed into a certain spot or you get on the wrong team, that it just everybody that gets drafted should be they're a good player.
Yeah.
So if you know how to coach them, just like Cordell's saying, they should have success at the next level. But it's the creativity, the pieces where it's just all right, we're just going to put you in this one spot, and you're going to do that for us so that we don't have to think about anything else.
They're driving me nuts.
It makes total sense. I love that.
I just want to let you guys know they're driving
No.
I can tell.
Oh, they're driving me nuts.
You hit numerous clutch field goals, 50 whatever yards. You beat the Cowboys a handful of times.
I know.
No, that's fine. Look, I was a Washington.
Sorry, laugh I gave
Let me tell you, I was in the press box covering the game where Rodgers threw that damn dot.
Jared Cook.
I remember that. Was that the one on the sideline where he was almost?
It had that much room to make the play.
The only person in the league at the time who could have made that throw was Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
the only one.
It was ridiculous.
Absolutely. And then, no offense to you, but as a lifelong Cowboy fan, I was I hope he has a just terrible moment.
Have that moment.
Yeah, but you came out and just now. Those moments.
Mason is the man.
I just feel, and honestly, being in this building, it's I see the Cowboys logo. Grew up here in Texas. I feel really comfortable with Cowboys stuff around from those experiences. I'm just this is.
He did own them.
But that experience, that was the longest I think in the NFL I ever spent on a field in one continuous moment because they're reviewing the play, all those things. And we talked about golf earlier. I was doing these 30-second check-ins where I'm all right, are they done with the review? And it's nope. All right, I got to go back, kind of reset, and then get back into that moment. And I think I was on the field for 4 minutes, and it's all right, let's just get this kick over with.
Did you ever?
They iced me without even having. They were trying to.
If you don't mind me bringing up the Hail Mary, and being in that moment, take me through that play. And then, did you know he caught it? Where were you? Michael make the great diving catch.
And let me say this: I rewinded wanting to see if something else is going to happen, and it keeps happening over and over again the same exact way. I'm that's pretty freaking impressive.
Yep.
But the series prior to that, we're driving down, and I remember trying to get into the end zone early, and I kind of had it tucked in my arm, extended, and the ball drops right in front. So I'm God dang it, this was. And the clock is we're in the fourth quarter. So I get to the sideline, and Coach Neuheisel always had this thing with me, take the towel and put it over your head and act like nothing else exists but where you are. So I get under my towel, and all of a sudden, Coach Neuheisel comes underneath, and he said, let me tell you something. This is going to be the greatest comeback in college football history. So he comes from under, and I'm kind of start picking my nose with the towel or whatever, and he comes back under there again. And he said, did you hear what I just said? And I said, I heard you. So he walks away, and he's telling the band members, as I said early on, behind me, this is going to be the greatest comeback in college football history. And just as he says it, they don't get the first down. They have to punt it. So they punt it to Chris Hudson. He catches it like inside the 15-yard line or so. All of a sudden, our first play is a dig route to Michael Westbrook, something that we had to draw up from the same formation from the tip, from the Hail Mary pass. Yeah. He catches it. We hurry up. We spike it. I'm running to the sideline as if there's something else to call. There's 6 seconds left on the clock. Rick Neuheisel said, what the hell? What are we doing? What are we doing? So he's like, call tip left or whatever. And all of a sudden, I drop back, and the late Rashaan Salam and Tony Birdie, I think it was Trevor Price. Trevor Price was the defensive end. He was number 8 on the left-hand side. He used to play for the Broncos. He ends up diving down. They throw him into the ground. I get around, and I throw as far as I can. So, mind you, in practice in Colorado, we would practice that once a week, just the guys getting in position to me throw it as far as I can. So I would throw it the same distance, but we're at altitude. So we get to Michigan, we're sea level, maybe a little bit lower. And I throw it with tape on my finger. I still have the scars on my finger, as you can see right here. I still have the scars on my finger right there, all that good stuff. And I throw it with the tape on my finger because I threw the Hail Mary at halftime. And if I don't have the tape on my finger, I don't know if I have that grip. So I unleash it, and it looked like it goes out of the stadium. And all of a sudden, it starts coming down, and I see something coming from my left really fast. Blake Anderson's in the front. He's kind of like the guy that's the tipper, if you will. Ball goes up in the air, and I just see this big body come out of nowhere, and he catches the football.
He was a big body.
I look to the sideline. Everybody runs on the football field. And the referees, and they don't go like this. They go, they're like extending so far, like they're about to pull their shoulders out of place. And I run down, and I see Mike at the bottom of the pile, and everybody start grabbing me. I say, don't you touch me, because I don't want to go to the bottom of the pile. I don't know if I'll make it, because I started cramping. And I mean, you know, I'm getting dressed, and Rick passed by me. He said, what did I tell you? I said, man, you're too much for your own good, too. I said, you're too much, man.
That's awesome.
And I'm just saying, man, it's something we talk about over and over. Anyone in the, the Big Ten?
Yep.
I don't care. Anyone outside of Michigan State, Purdue, Indiana, any other institution that's people that went to their school. Cordell, you're an honorary graduate student here in Indiana. Iowa. I'm like, thank you. So I have so many degrees.
Free drinks in Columbus for the rest of your life.
Forever, bro.
So good.
Greatest game of my life.
Cordell Stewart, Colorado. Mason Crosby, Colorado. And give me, again, the time, the weekend coming up with the golf tournament real quick.
Yeah, it's the Pro Rivals Open. It's the Pro FTB, so football only. And there's multiple events. They just announced they're playing one in Chicago with basketball and hockey. And so this is a series of events with all 4 major sports leagues. And, yeah, we'll be up at Fields Ranch East.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, playing in the wind, battling it out, getting our competitive juices rolling on the golf course. So come on out. There's still tickets available. You can come. What do we got? Team up with us. Yep, here it is, the Pro. On X, it's Pro Rivals Open. On Instagram, the Pro Rivals Open, or Facebook, the Pro Rivals Open. Go to ProRivalsOpen.com. You can get tickets. Come on out. Bring the kids. We'll be having a good time. If it's not going well, we'll just probably be engaging with fans and and laughing and having a good time.
Reminiscing, camaraderie and all that. Man, it was a great pleasure to have both of you. Thanks for dropping by.
Having us.
Yes.
Cordell Stewart, Mason Crosby. This is 365 Sports at Big 12 Pro Days in Frisco.
Pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Attention Central Texas. The Jeep Celebration event is happening now at Allen Samuels in Waco. Drive home a legendary 2024 Jeep Wrangler, Sahara, Rubicon, or Grand Cherokee, saving 20% off MSRP. Or save a whopping $13,000 on a 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Prefer low financing? Get 3.9% for 72 months. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Hurry to Allen Samuels in Waco, where we always say,
come by, let's be friends.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Developed by Startup Waco, a nonprofit organization, GXG is a program designed to support the entrepreneurial development of Baylor University student athletes through NIL activations. The program helps student athletes maximize their platforms and offers a comprehensive support system for them to create and grow new businesses that not only benefit themselves, but also uplift the local economy. Fans who wish to support student athletes can donate to GXG via the GXG NIL Fund, BaylorBears.com/GXG. Contributions to support NIL activations through GXG can be made at BaylorBears.com/GXG. For more information, follow @GXG_GreenXGold on social media and visit the official website www.gxg.startupwaco.com. GXG, empowering student-athlete entrepreneurship and uplifting the local economy through NIL activations.
Texas Tech tight end Jaylen Conyers with us, 365 Sports at Big 12 Pro Days in Frisco. Man, your name is kind of blown up. The people are talking about you and what they see in you and the prospects in the NFL. What has the attention been like for you?
It's been weird, but it's been cool at the same time. Like I said, going to the Combine was awesome, getting invited. I know I could go out there and kind of show what I had. I know a lot of people kind of didn't really know who I was, kind of were questioning just who I was and, how athletic I was going to be. But I think I was able to go to the Combine, kind of make a name for myself and pop on a lot of people's radars.
You, throughout your career, Arizona State and Tech, you were at Oklahoma for a year, but you redshirted. But you have been asked to kind of do a lot of different things: run the ball, catch the ball, through the touchdown passes, like all that. How much has that maybe started to intrigue some people about, especially those offensive coordinators who like guys who can, mix it up a little bit and you don't really know what you're going to get out of it?
Right, yeah. I mean, I think of a guy like Taysom Hill, obviously, that plays on basically every unit. I mean, punt, every special teams, obviously on offense and stuff like that. Plays tight end, can play quarterback, do a lot of things. So I think it's just being able to show my versatility and kind of show that I can be one of those players, even as a bigger tight end, that I can just do whatever a team needs me to do at the end of the day.
You made the decision to transfer to Texas Tech. What was your experience like out in Lubbock playing for Joey McGuire?
It was awesome. I grew up near Lubbock and went to a lot of games as a kid. So I was a lifelong Tech fan. So going to play was a dream come true, honestly. I remember the first game I ever decided I wanted to go to Tech. I was at the Texas game when Crabtree caught on the sideline.
Oh, man.
So yeah, it was a great moment. And I always remember telling my grandpa I wanted to go to Tech after that. So it was awesome, and I thank Coach McGuire and Coach Cochran a lot for allowing me to have the opportunity to go. And God bless me with the opportunity to be able to go there as well.
So what took so long for you to get there?
Coach Wells. I mean, I love Coach Wells. He just, he didn't have the time, to offer me a scholarship at the time. When the first time I transferred from OU, so that was just bad timing. And then other than that, I was at Arizona State, obviously trying to make a name for myself. So,
you were at that game, the Crabtree?
Yes, sir.
Harold, where were you?
The end zone that Crabtree caught it in.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were going to catch
I was on the right side of the big Tech logo in the middle. I was on the right side of it. So
which everything's changed now because you've renovated that. Well, okay, so when he catches it, what everyone keeps forgetting is that he caught it. Graham throws it, but he had to strip a couple. He had to break a tackle.
Yeah, he had to rip out of it.
And then cut back. I think it was Curtis Brown. I mean, it was.
Yeah, Curtis Brown. And then Earl Thomas was standing there too.
Two good, really good players.
Very good.
What did you do when that happened?
I just remember screaming. I mean, I was super young, so my grandpa's kind of told me more story. But I remember my grandma and my grandpa took me, and they were crying, whining the whole time because they had to stand up the whole game. And they were older, so they were, they didn't want to stand up the whole time. But I remember me and my cousin were there, and we got to watch it. And I remember just jumping out, and then we asked if we could rush the field with everybody, and they told us no. So we were kind of disappointed about that. But other than that, it was good.
Where is that in the terms of the loudest places you've been loudest? Well, I guess you're young, man. Maybe can you compare it to your playing career?
Shoot, nothing. I mean, I think the loudest place I've ever been is BYU.
Okay.
When I was at Arizona State. I mean, that was a lot of. It's funny because they're all that loud and there's no alcohol near anywhere. So that's what y'all joke about. It's like it's one of the loudest stadiums, one of the rowdiest crowds. There's no alcohol. So it's pretty crazy.
Kids get all hopped up on Sprite and OJ, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
On vitamin C.
They're in Tech. Tech gets really loud too.
Yeah.
So
No, it is. You've been able to watch the growth of what they're doing with the money, the commitment, the NIL, the facilities. What's that like to be experiencing that along the way?
It's been awesome. I wish I got to experience more of the facility, but like I said, a lot of the donors, like I said, they want to see a good football team in Tech, and nowadays you got to have NIL to do it. So I'm pretty sure I can't remember Cody Campbell, the main guy that's obviously contributed and put all that money aside to be able to help Tech get the athletes that they're going to get. So I'm excited to see what Coach McGuire can do.
How thirsty are they to win big?
I think probably more than anyone in the country. I think Tech's kind of always been on that, even when I was a kid, like 2008, you were always right there. You always had the opportunity. Like this year, we beat the two teams that are in the Big 12 championship. We just lost two games that we shouldn't have. And, like I said, I think you win one of those games that you're supposed to win and, you don't lose it. You're in we're talking about possibly being in the playoff. Beat Arizona State, obviously, like I said, beat Iowa State. You have a chance to play one of them again. So we're really hungry. I mean, even last year I was destroyed when we didn't make the Big 12 championship. Obviously, got to finish out. Obviously, had another game to go, but it sucked. And talking to the guys, just the guys I played with last year, I mean, they say it's a whole different dynamic. When you walk around that building, it's the same goals, but a lot more persistency to get it done.
Did you talk to any of your Arizona State guys about their season? I mean, you played there. You got the 1 year with Kenny Dillingham. I mean, from the you were on the inside and then the outside. Were you surprised at how good they got, or did you?
Yeah,
did you like cooking out?
I asked them what the heck happened, man.
We were surprised.
That's honestly just a testament to the guys that I played with. I mean, they had been working. I mean, I was part of it for 2 years, but just working my tail off and not getting the results we wanted. I really think a big part of it was they got a quarterback that they could rock out with and that was confident and that go out there and play some swagger and didn't hold back. So I think that was a big part of it. Obviously, like I said, it was my time to leave. People ask me if I regret that decision all the time. I don't. I believe everything happens for a reason. God had a path for me is to be a Red Raider. So, but I was been talking to him yesterday. That was so awesome to see. Just be able to sit back at home and watch them almost beat Texas and be able to accomplish that after 2 years ago and 3-9. It sucked. So to be able to see them kind of flourish, get to do what they do is awesome to see.
How weird to see Arizona State in the Big 12.
It was super weird. It was just funny too because I had just transferred out, and then they were our first Big 12 opponent. So it was like all the cards were aligning.
Did you feel like running into your ex-girlfriend at the like?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, hey guys!
I felt like showing up at the movies with your new girlfriend. Yeah. So
I do want to ask you about Cam Scadaboo though.
Mm-hmm.
Like you played with him for that year, and he like in the 3-9 year he was still fantastic.
Ridiculous, yeah.
There are varying. Like you listen to the draftniks out there, and they'll give you varying reports. In your opinion, if you draft Cam Scadaboo, is that going to be a good thing for your franchise?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, not only obviously the ability to carry the ball and just be a good running back, he can do stuff on special teams. Like obviously, especially with the new kickoff rules and stuff now, you can kind of put a lot of different people there. And Scad's just a tough son of a gun. I mean, he hits his head on everything, and he'll throw up and then go carry the ball the next play. So I mean, he's tough, and he's a great football player, and he's a great dude. He really does. Anytime we weren't playing, we were out hanging out at the Trenton Bourguet's house or going out and golfing. So he's a good dude, and I think he's going to have a successful football career.
I can't imagine a lot of people would have transferred away from a running back like that and ended up in an equal to or even similar position playing with a Taj Brooks.
Right.
I mean, what was it like playing with Taj, and just what did you learn? What did you observe, and just all that?
Well, it's funny because with Scat, you kind of know, like, all right, he's going to break that first tackle and, stuff like that. But I got, met Todd. I was like, how are you getting out of this?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? That's not even human. So it was super cool to see. I mean, obviously they're two very different running backs. I think Todd is just as big, if not bigger, but, is a little more agile compared to Scat running through people. So it was awesome to see. And, being a part of that record-breaking season for him was awesome. And I kind of had to take some pride in that as well. I mean, being a tight end, you got to block and help out. So, when you need to average like 130 yards a game, it was kind of like, all right, you better buck up and get ready to go. So it was awesome. Me and Todd were really good friends. I had a great time. I gave him a high five during one of the games, so that was a pretty cool moment. But like in the middle of the play, so just being around him and seeing how he approached everything and being a pro, he deserves everything that's coming for him.
This segment with Jaylen Conyers, Texas Tech tight end, brought to you by North Star Funding Partners. Did you ever see Cam Scadaboo eat nails or anything like broken glass or anything?
No, but I was convinced that he hit his head on the wall every morning to prepare for all the stuff he does. But, we always gave him crap too because we go golfing and he always does that little helmet shake after the play, and I was like, do you do it on the golf course too, dude? Like, it's just
does he really?
Yeah. So
we may need to get him tested.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's a great dude, and everyone always asks me, do you have concussions? Has this? Like, no, it's just what he does. I mean, everyone kind of has that one little tick or thing they do, and he says it's his fixing his helmet, but I think it's just something that he does.
I just had lunch with a cousin, dinner with his brother last night. Both of them Texas Tech grads. Both of them wanted me to ask you in particular about Baron Morton, Will Hammond, like the way you guys are set up at quarterback. How should Tech fans feel about that going this year? Because it appears to be a position of strength. Even like Baron's dealt with a lot of injuries and come through, but Will showed a lot last year.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up with Baron my whole life, so being around him and just seeing, I mean, he's probably the toughest dude I've ever played with. I mean, playing through injury, playing through stuff that bothered him. So, I mean, he played that whole season with a messed up shoulder, but was able to make it work. So, I think this really being his last year, most likely, he kind of knows what's at stake, and I think he knows that. And I mean, shoot, when you have a guy like Will Hammond behind you, you work your tail off.
Yeah.
Will's like a robot, man. Like, I mean, he's awesome. I love him. We're really good friends, like outside football too. But I mean, when he's on the field, he's like a robot. He's like, get this done, get this done, get this done, and his mechanics and how he carries himself, and just being able to be a leader even as a true freshman, like he really shined. And I think going into these next couple of years, like Tech fans should be confident, like they have their quarterback of the future. I think if they don't rock out with Will Hammond, then I don't know what the problem is. So.
We saw him. We did midway football games, and they played Hutto, and we saw Will a couple of different times, including the year he had already committed to Tech, and he is a machine.
He is.
We probably on this computer have about 7 or 8 highlights of him from that game. He was he personally destroyed Midway.
Yeah. They lost though because they couldn't play defense. It's like but he has the ability to throw it like sideline on a dart, and yet the rainbow.
He has one of the strongest arms I've been around, honestly. Like really, like him and Jayden Daniels, like those are two guys I've been around and that could sling it and throw it. And
that's right.
And on top of that, he's pretty athletic. Like you would think he's a little more athletic than you would think. So
you've played with Jayden Daniels, Ricky Pearsall, right? Rashad White, Johnny Wilson. Yeah. I mean, like you that group was Man, I kind of wish Dillingham had them,
Man,
right?
yeah, that Arizona State team was very nasty. Yeah, Herm was our coach at the time, so it was very NFL-driven type of process. So it was different, but I think that team could have been really good. I think in terms of skill and where those guys are at now, it was probably one of the best teams made. Like, I mean, you can compare it to like a Bama or like an Ohio State type team. We had some dogs on that team.
Like I'm a Florida State grad, and Johnny Wilson, I would lay down in traffic for him. Never met him, but
right. Yeah, no, Johnny's legit.
But he when you got 6'7" and like that, I mean, how much do you learn like working around guys like that, athletes like that?
I mean, just watching him was like how fluid he is for 6'7". Like you don't. I mean, you see some tight ends like you don't see 6'7" move like he does.
Yeah.
So it was very impressive. He's really good with the ball in his hands. Obviously you can throw it up on the top shelf and he's going to jump up about 7 feet, 7 inches and go get it. So learning from him, learning like footwork from Ricky, getting to catch balls from Jayden Daniels. I mean, it was that was my redshirt freshman year, and I was like, holy cow! Where am I at right now? So it was definitely a cool experience.
So was there any surprise when you saw Jayden Daniels doing what he was doing this year in the pros? I mean, was that just like, yep, I could have seen that?
I mean, honestly, I don't think it's surprised because I feel like even when he left Arizona State, people were like, yeah. I mean, you obviously see the stuff about he sucked and all that. Like, he just wasn't in a good situation. Truly, I think the offense wasn't set up for him like in the way that he was good for him. Like, he went to LSU, obviously won the Heisman, so he can't suck that bad. I think, like I said, Jayden always worked his tail off. He was always throwing extra. He's always asking us to come throw with him. Always wanted us to come do film. So everything that he's getting right now and all the attention he's getting, he deserves it.
And he seems to handle it well.
He does. He's very. You wouldn't think he's very monotone, but he is. Like, he's very calm, down to earth, like relaxed. Like, if you can see him throw 3 picks in a game, he's gonna have the same look on his face. So
I sent Joey McGuire a text. I said, about to interview Jaylen Conyers. Give me anything of interest. He said, great athlete, legit dunker. And then he said, tell him Campbell needs to eat. What, is that Cody?
That's my coach's, my tight end coach's daughter.
Oh, Josh Cochran.
Yeah, that's our tight end coach's daughter. We always, anytime we did something wrong in practice or anything, Coach Cochran would joke around and say, like, you don't want my daughter to eat. So for a long time, for that whole season, anytime we did something or anything, it was like, we didn't want Campbell to eat, or like we had a good play, like we had to write it down like Campbell ate on this play. So
he said he will laugh out loud so loud. Yeah, and you did. Josh played at Texas, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And his brother's the coach at Lindale High School in East Texas. Yeah. So hell of a family when it comes to offensive line.
Yeah, awesome. I love Coach Cochran. He changed my life in terms of being able to see how I could fit in the run game and just being able to be able to do a bunch of things. So I'm pretty appreciative of him and Coach McGuire for what they've been able to help me do at Texas Tech.
So where do you feel like you are right now? Just feeling about the whole process and everything that's going on right now, and what's to come for you here in the next few weeks?
I mean, shoot, hopefully I get my name called. That'd be awesome.
I think you will.
Yeah, I hope so. Like I said, everything happens for a reason. It's all God's plan at the end of the day. But I think I put myself in position to for teams to go, hey, we want to draft him, and another guy to go in front of him and be like, we want to draft him first. So hopefully keep climbing up in that way. And like I said, I want to get to a team. I play football, have fun. A day I retire from football will be the day I stop having fun, and I can't do it anymore. So go out, have fun, play my tail off, and just do whatever teams need to do to help win.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good luck. Like we've told everybody, there's like 5 weeks or so, 6 weeks till the draft. Enjoy it, soak it in.
Oh, yeah.
All the hard work, the hay's in the barn.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to go get a fat old steak after this. I've been eating right.
Around here.
T-bone, ribeye.
Oh, ribeye for sure.
Yeah.
Bone-in
ribeye.
Biggest one they have.
See if they got
I've been eating very diligently.
What's the tomahawk ribeye? There, you get the tomahawk with the big bone coming out of it.
It looks like a club.
Yeah.
I'll just ask, what side? So you going big baked potato? Or are you doing like?
I'm a big potato French. I like potatoes. I do more of a French fry, baked potato, mashed potato guy. So my agent's probably not going to be happy.
That'll get some meat on your bone. Yeah,
for sure.
I know. Yeah,
I might gain 3 pounds a day, but it's okay. I'll lose it. I'll lose it in a week or so.
Jaylen Conyers, a great story. Oklahoma, Arizona State, found a great place to reside and do what he did at Tech, and now the NFL is next. Thanks for your time on 365 Sports.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's Truck Month at Allen Samuels in Waco. Right now, drive home a 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab or Ram Lone Star Crew Cab, both with massive $15,000 off MSRP. Looking for unbeatable value? Drive home a Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab starting at just $35,995, or upgrade to a Tradesman Crew Cab for only $37,995. These deals won't last long. Hurry to Allen Samuels today.
Come by. Let's be friends.
There are hundreds of things that can affect our sleep, but what's affecting yours? Sleep Doctor's Home Sleep Test brings the precision of a sleep lab into the comfort of home to help you get answers and unlock a lifetime of great sleep. Start now at sleepdoctor.com/TV.
I'll never get used to this.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Devin Neal, been waiting to want to talk with you, and we had Cory Kiner, McKai Bernard, all Taj Brooks. There's going to be so many running backs. I asked that to Cory. How much did you recognize the depth and good depth of running backs in the conference while you've been in the Big 12, but also this past year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously being in the Big 12 for 4 years, you kind of recognize these names, and I played against a lot of these guys, for multiple years. So it's been special going against them, and I have pretty good bonds with them too. So it's always unique. You want them to do well until they play you. So it's pretty cool just to see all of us on the big stage and doing our thing. So.
You are probably as KU through and through as anybody could be, right? You grew up in Lawrence. You're there at KU. Coach Leipold comes in and shoots some life into the program. I know it didn't go, especially early on for you guys, the way it wanted to. But what is that? What is the university? What is the city? What does all that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it means everything. It's the reason why I stayed and did what I did, right, and just become a leader early on and do whatever it takes to, be a successful program. Because at the end of the day, I just wanted to win and and change the program that I grew up watching and loving. So.
I don't want to bring up a bad memory, but at the end of the year, you guys have a chance to make a bowl game after that run. You go to Waco, disappointing loss, obviously, but what was that like, just the ebb and flow of that season? I mean, to start off rough, have this streak, and then kind of have this thing dangling there and to fall short, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it was challenging as a leader, keeping the guys together, and then we did, right? And we kept them together, and then we bought in. We just ran out of juice at the end, and I was doing whatever it takes. I know guys were doing whatever it takes, but, there was just a lack of energy I felt from the beginning. I'm like, I don't know if this is, the same team that was there last week. And so that's football, though. You have to show up and show out each and every week, especially in the Big 12, because, that Baylor team was probably one of the best teams in the Big 12. And they weren't ranked. It wasn't this and that, but that was a good ball team. And, they competed and they won a lot of games as well. So I think we took that for granted a little bit, not seeing that number in front of their name. And we didn't compete with the same edge we did with the week before.
How well prepared do you think the team is next year to kind of pick up, though? I mean, given that you guys had a little juice there at the end, do you think that helps kind of go into next season where you got a little taste of what works and what doesn't maybe?
It's hard to tell just because, I went to practice and I wasn't even – they were in Spider, so it was hard. It was first day of practice, so it was hard to tell. You have 30 new guys, so you never know. But the one thing I do know is the culture's in a great place, and they're going to be in a great spot there. And I also think just a little bit of case of humble pie. We had a great season, in 23. We go 9-4, cool. Then we had the season we had, so now we don't take things for granted as much. And I know the coaching staff is working their tails off. I know the guys that I play with told me, hey, practices are harder, and that's probably a good thing. I think there's getting back to the details and focusing on everything and focusing on the 1% better each and every day. So
if you look at Lance Leipold, it looks like he's mad at the world all the time. But we had him on during the Big 12 media days in the summer in Vegas.
He's a smartass, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is. But he's got a soft side to him, and a really kind of a cool dude if you get to spend time with him. How would you explain him?
Yeah, I would explain it just like that. Like, he's really cool, and he's down to earth. And but the thing about him, when you get him in game mode, he's never satisfied. So you can win by 60, and he's finding ways to, what do we mess up throughout the game? And I think that's what makes great coaches great. I just think he has a special knack for finding ways to get better and implement different things in practice that we maybe struggle with. Like I said, we can win by 60, and maybe we didn't execute 2-minute drill the way we wanted to. We're going to work on that. I just think he operates on that. And but like you said, off the field and stuff like that, like, he cares about each of the guys, and he does whatever it takes for guys to succeed, not only in the program, but, he's a lot of feedback now for me, and I know a bunch of the guys who are here, and the after-school process and the pre-draft process, so it's unique in that aspect.
We knew Jeff Grimes from when he was at Baylor, but you had Andy Kotelnicki, and he really shot some life into that running game. If you look at what's going on at Penn State where he is, their running backs had fantastic years. Yeah. What did you learn from him that's going to prepare you for this?
I would just say, obviously that's very unique, the offense he runs. You do a lot of different wild things, but I think it's going to be me pretty well-versed because I ran every type of run scheme. And he runs every type of run scheme. He runs gap, he runs outside zone, he runs power, outside zone, you name it, and that helps prepare me because no matter what team I go to, I'm going to be prepared to run whatever type of run scheme they run. And so I think that's probably the most valuable thing I've taken from him, and, it really came into existence when he's teaching me how to be in sync with the O-line and, be a part of O-line meetings to understand combinations and stuff off the field that helps you play faster when you get on the field.
You also caught a lot of passes too. You did that. How much has that helped you in this preparation that you were doing that already? A lot of running backs sometimes don't. It's just not part of the scheme. I mean, they can't. It's just never asked to. But you were asked to do pretty much everything, like you said, a running back could be asked to do.
Yeah, I just think that makes me who I am. I just think I'm one of the most versatile backs in this class, and I think I've shown that on tape as well. And I just think that comes from my baseball background, hand-eye coordination growing up, and it just comes natural to me. It's just pretty effortless, and it's just like an instinct for me, I guess.
What position were you in baseball?
I was center field.
Center field. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Athlete's position.
Yeah, athlete's
sure.
position. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you play if you pitch shortstop or center fielder. You're
one of the studs. Yeah, you're one of the studs.
You're one of the guys.
I could only do a couple years in college though, and then I had to let it go.
Devin Neal, running back at Kansas, with us on 365 Sports.
I guess just a focus on football. Is that where you were? You just kind of had to go all in on that?
It was tiring.
I bet.
Spring ball was pretty hard. You go from football practice to baseball practice to classes, and then I was an exercise science major at the time, and it was just nonstop, and I wasn't able to, really train after for either baseball or football. So, I really noticed the jump. Like my freshman year to my sophomore year, I really focused on just football, and that's what helped me become a better running back. So I'm actually focused on running back drills and just getting better. And I never did that my entire life, so I definitely took advantage of that.
So you mentioned, and Paul as well, some of the things you've people can go flip on the tape. I mean, the stats are there, the video's there. So today, what did you want to accomplish today as far as being a part of this event? And what'd you think of the whole situation?
Yeah, I just really wanted to be smooth with the running back drills and just do what I do. I just think, my footwork and my cutting ability is one of my best traits, and showing that and just being consistent in that, also running routes and just showing that in front of the scouts and stuff like that. No, go ahead. You're good.
No, go, yeah.
Oh, I was just saying, and then obviously I did the rest of the stuff at the combine and stuff, and it is what it is. I'm not disappointed in my 40 time. It is. I mean, a bunch of teams have me in hand time. Lower 4.5. It's stuff like that they use, and I just don't think too many times in my position you're running in a straight line. So I definitely think my tape speaks for that, and I've been able to rattle off chunk plays and long touchdowns and plenty of times in my career. So.
Are you a little bummed that you won't get to experience the new stadium, the stadium renovation there as a player?
It's funny you say that because I went back to Lawrence after the combine and they showed me a bunch of the new stuff they're getting, and I'm a little bit jealous.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you look back and you understand, like, hey, without the stuff
you were
that
part
we
of that.
did,
Yeah, you're part
we
of
don't
that.
get that.
Yeah.
And the future generation don't get that. And I think back of the reason why I committed to KU is for the future generations and other guys from Kansas to commit to this school and believe in it and to experience the things that, we didn't have early on. So, it comes back full circle for sure.
Was that weird to play at Arrowhead as your home site?
It was weird because I didn't feel like I ever had a home game this year.
Yeah.
It was really weird. So, I think we had a good fan turnout. I think it would have been better, obviously, if we were winning. But at the same time, you didn't have that real home field when you're traveling an hour and 30 minutes away to, get to your home game. So.
Gifted athlete, obviously. You mentioned multi-sport. And almost some of that was almost taken away from you when you were younger.
Yeah.
What was that like to all of a sudden not know your future physically with the accident you had?
You talking about with my knee?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a tough time. You don't really process these things the same way when you're 14, 15 years old. And, it was obviously something very traumatic for me. But I had a great circle. I have a great circle. They were behind me the entire way. And I went into isolation just because you're in therapy, physical therapy right after school, and just doing whatever you can while all my friends are still playing sports for the middle school team, for the high school team, going into it. And so, it was very unique. But at the same time, I think it taught me a work ethic. I think at the time I relied on simply just my athletic ability instead of working out and, being introduced to Olympic lifts. I was introduced to Olympic lifts early on, and I've been naturally gifted at that and stuff like that, and it helped me prepare myself for the future. So.
Yeah, that you lose something that you can take for granted.
Yeah.
And the fact that you grind through that. And we've talked to a couple other players who have been injured. It is isolation. It's
Absolutely.
like a lonely time is what some of them have said. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I went to physical therapy for a couple hours and then go straight home, and I'm on crutches. I can't really move. I can't really run the same. And, you have those doubts a little bit when you're 14, 15, like, am I going to be the same guy? And, and now that I look back, I should never had that worry because, I became better. I was more explosive athlete afterwards and ran faster, was stronger and stuff like that. So definitely proud of my doctors and my team, and then obviously my parents and my friends and my family for helping me get through that too.
Blessing in disguise in a weird way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Hell of a career. Hell of a career.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How I'm curious, and my wife will want me to ask you this because you share the same Psycho alumni base. Big game tonight against Arkansas.
Yep.
And obviously you grew up around it. Like, can you go to Kansas and not like basketball? Like, if you ran into somebody who didn't like basketball, would you be like, "Are you all right?"
Yeah, it's a little weird, and for me, I've always been the guy who just watched the game from the TV, but then when Zeke came back this year, I've been to almost every game.
Did you know him growing up?
Yeah, me and Zeke have been friends since we were 3 years old.
Okay.
So,
cool.
There's actually a video we just posted where we went back to our old neighborhood of where we grew up and playing sports. So it's been special to watch him grow as well. And he was there at all the football games, and I've been training and stuff, but getting to all the basketball games, I was able to go to one before I came down here. So I'm rooting for him, and it's a revenge game for the last time Arkansas handed it to us. So I'm definitely excited. I think my flight gets back just in time. Back home. So I think we're going actually with his family out because they're not going all the way to Rhode Island. So just go with them and watch the game. Everyone's going to be a little nervous. So.
Devin, it's great to meet you and love watching you play and had a heck of a career. Good luck with whatever happens the next month with the draft and enjoy it, breathe it, and you're like, let it go, and I know you will. Great stuff. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Devin Neal, running back at KU, with us on 365 Sports.
Attention Central Texas. The Jeep Celebration event is happening now at Allen Samuels in Waco. Drive home a legendary 2024 Jeep Wrangler, Sahara, Rubicon, or Grand Cherokee, saving 20% off MSRP. Or save a whopping $13,000 on a 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Prefer low financing? Get 3.9% for 72 months. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Hurry to Allen Samuels in Waco, where we always say,
Come by, let's be friends.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Developed by Startup Waco, a nonprofit organization, GXG is a program designed to support the entrepreneurial development of Baylor University student athletes through NIL activations. The program helps student athletes maximize their platforms and offers a comprehensive support system for them to create and grow new businesses that not only benefit themselves, but also uplift the local economy. Fans who wish to support student athletes can donate to GXG via the GXG NIL Fund, BaylorBears.com/GXG. Contributions to support NIL activations through GXG can be made at BaylorBears.com/GXG. For more information, follow at GXG_GreenXGold on social media and visit the official website www.gxg.startupwaco.com. GXG, empowering student athlete entrepreneurship and uplifting the local economy through NIL activations.
Utah running back McKai Bernard with us, Big 12 Pro Days right here on 365 Sports. So big moment, man. This is a day like anything where you're getting time to whatever that it could be a big difference for you. How do you feel like the day went?
I think it went pretty well. I feel like I could have put a lot more out there, but it's on tape now. The numbers are down. All I got to do is be happy with it, which I am, and just know, I gave it my best.
You are, you're not a big dude, but you run pretty powerfully. How did you develop that in spite of like Taj Brooks down there, a bigger guy than you? You've got some guys that are bigger, but you're not the scat back type. You take on yards, one cut and go, all those things pretty well. How did you develop that over time?
Got to give a huge shout out to my running back coach, Quinton Ganther. He told me, hey, if you want to make it to the next level, it don't matter if you don't see a gap. Get 2 or 3 yards, and it's gonna translate into yards after contact and stuff like that. So I'm not looking for a big play. I'm looking for yards after contact, because if I can get it from 1st and 10 to 1st and 5, I might get the ball for 2nd and 5. You know what I'm saying? So just big shout out to him, going over the film, watching what I can do better, and one cut and go. That's what he told me, and that's what's gonna make me get me to the next level.
I know as far as team probably goals, you guys did not hit where you wanted to hit, but how good did that feel to be healthy and to play all season long after what you dealt with the year prior, and just be able to kind of be out there and do your thing? How good that feel to be back in full strength?
It felt pretty good. In the beginning of the season, we didn't know who the guy was going to be.
Yeah.
And, I kept telling myself, I'm going to be the guy. And I had a string of great games, and Coach finally said it. And it just felt good to just everything I've been through over the years, from my first year, second year, all the way through COVID and all that, just to be like, man, I finally made it to the starting position. It felt good, and to have the whole season, big injury-free was nice. You never go injury-free, but but it felt good. It felt amazing.
It was like 1,000 yards a goal of yours at any point, or yeah? So it was, and you're shaking your head, yeah. So that felt good, right?
It felt amazing.
One of the other things about you is you can catch it. You have 30 catches 3 times in your career. How much of that versatility is that even brought up right now?
it's a big thing because, you go to the league, it's a passing league now. It's going to that. So just being able to run the ball and catch the ball out the backfield is a big thing, and I'm glad that I got to do both. And the coaches in college, they trusted me to do both, even pass protection. So I can do it all.
Whittingham, grizzled old coach. We've had him on a few times. He is. There's a dichotomy to him, right? Like, what do you see on the outside? What do we not see on the inside that you know about him?
Coach Witt, oh my God, he works out every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day he's working out, and it just makes you wonder if he can do it at his age and intense workouts, we should have no problem doing the workouts we're doing. And so you might not see it on the outside, you might see his big calves or whatever, but he works on that, and it makes us feel better.
Does he have a special the mistake glare? Like when you come off the field after you've made a mistake, or how is he? Because he is pretty stoic on the sidelines.
Oh yeah, he does have that. It's been times where some things happen. I'm coming to the sideline, and it's not necessarily towards me, but he's just like, what is going on? You can tell that's what he's thinking. And you playing for him so long, you kind of get to understand his types of looks and what he's actually thinking, because you guys don't know, but we do.
Yeah.
What was it like to be a Utah Ute, man, for so many years, and just to be a part of a program that's got such great history?
It felt amazing. I think we have the best fans. We don't have a pro team, so it's like, you like the Utah Utes, and the fans are amazing. I love them. I appreciate every day I spent there. Great.
Definitely going to be a guy that comes back around, is hanging out like
oh, yeah. I mean, I'll probably move there after I'm done with football.
Okay,
Give me a nice house in the mountains, go skiing, go snowboarding. I don't know. I love it there. I really do. And it's kind of hard because, I'm from California, and, you hear a lot of bad things about California, and I don't want to put myself in a position where I got to go back to old things and see my old friends, and they're not doing, necessarily the greatest things. So I want to be able to stay in the community where I know it's going to help me in my life in the future.
When you mention that, where you grew up and were raised, is that's like sometimes you can be a statistic in certain places. How did you get away? How did you get through that? Who helped you get that way?
My grandpa, rest in peace. My grandpa just passed away January 29th or 28th, and He the reason I'm on this journey. Started playing football at 5 because of him. He was my head coach, my everything, and so he made sure I stayed out the streets. Made sure I was at practice every day. Went to every single game. Went to every single practice, and he's the reason I'm the person I am today. And I just want to thank him. I love him. Thank you, Papa. This is for you, and I appreciate him because, like you said, you can be a statistic, and he made sure I wasn't.
It's awesome. Awesome story.
Sorry about you having to go through that. So I know that's always tough, but you're grateful to have them. Yeah. Like that's the thing. It's like that's what sorrow is the gratefulness coming out in you, right? That's an amazing story. That's really good. I hate to follow up with like a kind of a random football question, but Cam Rising went through a lot.
He did.
What did that mean to you guys to see him fighting through to try to be the guy? And I know it might have handcuffed you at times, looking to the future and what's going to be week to week, but also watching him fight back from what happened to him. You overcame some injuries too. What does that mean to a team to see a guy that is fully bought in to being the quarterback at Utah?
That's our dog, man. I mean, we love Cam. He's a great guy, great person, and he lights up the locker room, he lights up the huddle, he lights up everything. And so to see him battling, it makes you want to battle so much harder. I remember, when he came back to Arizona State, and he wasn't healthy yet. I was just being in the huddle. I was like, Cam, we need you, bro. I got you. Tell me what you need. Hey, check it down to me. Do whatever you got to do, but you gonna play. And came out, he messed up his ankle or whatever, it's pretty bad, and he played the whole game on that. And that was on the second play. And so that just tells you what type of guy he is. He could have said, Coach, I can't go no more. And he didn't. And that, man, because it's be times I want to be like, Coach, I can't go no more, but I have to, not just for myself, but for the guys around me. And so, I appreciate him. Everybody loves him, and that's the guy.
I mean, last year obviously was a disappointment. I don't think there's any other way to slice it. Just how did you feel kind of about the year? Do you feel like next year will be a correction and the program will kind of reestablish itself? And just how tough was that to go through? So many ups, downs, whether it's Cam's injury or you're banged up or just, losses piling up. I mean, y'all weren't used to that. So what was that experience like?
I mean, it was tough. Week in and week out, you're just like, you believe, and you get to the end of the week and game day, and you're playing hard, and you come up short, and you believe and believe and believe, and next week, like, it just, the belief was never gone, but it just destroyed us every single time we didn't get to end up with the W. And so we just kept playing our butts off, and, you know, it is what it is. I just want to bring it back to high school. My last year, we went 3-7. And so, you know, one of my high school coaches said it's full circle moment where, you know, you don't end, you know, your senior year off the best, but you still have goals to continue. I made it to college, so
yeah,
hey,
man,
that's nice. So, you know, I didn't end up senior year of college the way I wanted to, but look, I still have a next level. I'm here at Pro Day, you know, trying to give myself opportunity to go play in the league.
I just put your name, and this is a story on Reddit about one of my favorite Utes of all time. Random story. I had somebody rear end me near the field house. Micah was walking into the building, saw it happen, helped me out during that time. I don't know if you remember that or not, but that's what people, the runs, the yards, the touchdowns, the wins, or whatever, that's where you make an impact.
I don't mean to, but you see how you read my name?
Yeah.
You see how you read it?
I did.
You see how you read it?
He didn't say McKai. He read it. He read it.
I did.
Exactly.
I did.
Exactly.
I'm so bad.
No, you're good. But that's what that was my point. But if you read it, you're going to say it wrong. But you already knew it when you first looked.
Yeah.
It's McKai. But, yeah, I mean, that story is great because, you know, I like conversating with a lot of people. And so when I see something happen, or if I'm just, you know, sitting there like with Faith, I was just conversating about a whole lot of things while you guys were on air. And I just like to do nice things and just have nice, simple conversations. So that's amazing.
Taj Brooks is going to join us right after you. What about his style? You ever watch that bowling ball?
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't. You know, I was focused on my team. I didn't have time. Like, you know, we didn't have a great year, so I wasn't trying to focus on everybody else. I was just trying to focus on trying to get my team.
Thanks for your time, man. Great to have you on. McKai Bernard.
There you go.
Don't read
it. Don't read it.
McKai Bernard. Great stuff, great stories, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is 365 Sports.
There are hundreds of things that can affect our sleep, but what's affecting yours? Sleep Doctor's home sleep test brings the precision of a sleep lab into the comfort of home to help you get answers and unlock a lifetime of great sleep. Start now at sleepdoctor.com/TV.
I'll never get used to this.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Wilder,
Yes, sir.
Cincinnati with us. Just wrapped up Big 12 Pro Days. We just had Luke Kandra on.
Yep.
You know him. And to be in this position where your future is perhaps the NFL, what is this like right now?
Amazing. Feel good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed for the opportunity to go.
You got to block for a guy named Cory Kiner who's going to be here tomorrow. And you guys, you had this really, I mean, Lou and Luke, and you've got a really solid offensive line. What do you think you guys did, like, to help each other get to this point?
We play for each other. You know what I'm saying? We always out with each other. We do everything as a unit. And when you play as one, everything's going to be good. We love running the ball.
Yeah, y'all do.
Love running the ball for him.
yeah. What's it like with Cory Kiner behind you and just knowing that if you just give him a little bit that he's going to take a lot?
Sometimes you might not even have to block the dude. He's going to run him over and keep going.
Yeah.
That's how type of running back he was. Back-to-back 1,000.
We just talked to Luke about this. The season didn't go like you wanted. 5-7, Big 12. It's a transition still. Although Cincinnati had that great run to the semifinals, 3 or 4 years ago. What was it like this year? What was missing?
I think we started the season off 5-2. We did everything we were supposed to do. We was out there playing good, and then we just hit a little stumble, rock. A couple people go down. Brandon Swordsby throwing the mess out the ball. Like, he's throwing beautiful. Cory running. It's just like little stumbles here and there, and that's how our season ended like that.
Did that add up, like the loss, and then all of a sudden it's 3 losses, and it's 4, and then you're like, oh, man, we got to win.
Oh, we got to win the game.
Yeah, like how much
had
did that?
5 wins for like 5 games straight.
Yeah.
Like, let's get this bowl game. It just kept adding on.
Did you guys feel that pressure, though, like every week? Like, oh, we got 2 more games.
We got 2 more games to get one. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to get out of your head, right? And then, like, as opposed to just early in the season, it's like, okay, this is the opponent, let's go beat them. Now you're thinking about, like, what the numbers are, right? Yeah. But Luke told us this. Scott never left the locker room. Like, Coach Satterfield never did. You guys always believed.
Yeah.
What is a testament to him and the coaching staff that in that moment that you guys didn't just go like, you know?
It was like we have love for each other. We everything we did was as a unit, especially us as O-line. And, like, our head coach was an offensive-minded person, and he loved O-line. So, like, Coach Satterfield was amazing to be around. He always kept us tight.
You're a Georgia guy. You went to Southeast Missouri State and then eventually transferred to Cincy a couple years ago. What did you know about Cincy going in, and what have you learned about Cincy, the school, the community, and all of that the last couple of years?
They love Cincinnati. That was, like, coming from SEMO and moving up to Cincinnati, they loved it. Like, I'm seeing the fans, and I see how the people are dedicated to the team. Everybody loved to being out there. It make you want to play for everybody there.
What was it like going from SEMO to Cincinnati? Was it? I mean, did it feel like the locker rooms are different?
The locker
like,
room, the people, the body types, everything. Feel, it's the trenches.
Yeah.
Where they change that. So when I got there, I'm like, oh yeah, they good. These people good.
Nippert is not the biggest of the stadiums, and there's a few others in the Big 12 that are at 40,000 or so.
But the people and the energy they have, it feels like the biggest stadium ever.
I do hear that about Nippert. That
it's like you can't hear. If we on defense, you can't hear nothing.
Yeah.
So you're from Jonesboro, Georgia, which is essentially Atlanta. It's in the greater Atlanta area.
Southside.
So what is the high school competition like? Like, what is that? How did that prepare you for the next levels?
In high school, we were 6A. So we played teams like Tucker, Stevenson, Lowndes, Valdosta. You know, a lot of good teams. And, like, a lot of them players, Bama offers, Clemson, like, a lot of teams like that. So, like, every week you had to be prepared for somebody that's good.
Every day now, between now and the draft, is it more exciting as you get closer, or is it nerve-wracking, or what?
I believe that now that I finished Pro Day, is more exciting and more happiness coming. Before this, it was anxiety and, like, I got to do this, I got to do that.
Well, they watch what you do on film. They know everything about you. They know how long your hands are, all that kind of stuff. But it's interesting that 1 or 2 drills can be the difference between a 3rd round or 7th round or undrafted free agent. What is that feeling of knowing that?
You're going to try to do every drill the best you can, but, like, you have a place in your mind, like, I know this drill going to get me paid.
Got to get you paid.
Yes. certain drills that you know you're good at. I'm like, this gonna get me paid. I'm gonna go extra. You going hard on every drill, but it's like your head gonna tell you, okay, I know this drill right here. Everybody gonna be back and be like, ooh, I like that.
Where are you training right now?
I was training in Atlanta at Legacies.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Well, back home. That's good.
home.
Yeah.
It's ran by all the Falcons players.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, and that's got to be good to, you get a lot of advice from them, right?
Muhammad Sanu, Julio Jones, all them up there.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
What was it like playing with Luke Kandra? I mean, just as far as here's a guy that obviously is a great player, but, what did you observe being on the line alongside him?
I'm next to him.
Yeah.
I play right tackle. He make life easy.
yeah.
Especially when I first got there. When our coaching staff changed from Louisville to Cincinnati, right? And he was at Louisville.
Yeah.
And he knew everything. So, your first year, he'll tell you some stuff, and you'd be like, okay, that's easier that way. We're getting the game, everything fluid. Sometimes he'll tell you what's going to happen before it happens. And that's how Luke Kandra play. He's a step ahead.
Well, that also says a lot about you that you were smart enough to realize that pretty quickly, too.
And then the next year, it's like, okay, you don't taught me everything. Now I know I can teach everybody else what to do.
Was he able to kind of fill you in on the Cincinnati, living there, being a native guy? And I had to ask him, I know it's the cliche thing to always ask, but were you a Skyline chili guy? Did you get down with that?
I wasn't no Skyline
okay.
chili. I can't even name a spot in Atlanta that compares to that.
Right.
Ain't nothing. That.
We agree.
It's my dog, chili and cheese.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly.
That's
exactly. What's your spot in Atlanta?
American Deli, touchdown.
Okay.
Touchdown, yeah.
Yeah, touchdown's real good. Yeah.
So,
y'all eat touchdown before?
We've
been there to. I think for me, I don't know. It's been 3 to 5 Super Bowls, and maybe 3 or 4 Super Bowls, but we've been there for NCAA tournaments, regionals. I think we haven't been there for the draft or anything, but I love that city.
Yeah,
I
really do.
The food amazing, but it stick on you.
Okay, tell him where your Airbnb was.
Oh man!
So we get a house while we're at the Super Bowl.
Right.
I have a friend of mine that sets me up at the Omni, so I'm uptown, right?
Okay.
But
so what happened was we had one that was in Buckhead.
Okay.
And it got canceled the week before. And we were working for an owner who I would just say was stingy. But it was too late to change anything. So he said, if you can find a place for the same budget, then just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
So I'm looking online and I see this house. It's remodeled. It's done. I was like, man, that's a really nice, cool place.
Right.
So we get out. We're driving. The Uber driver's like, where are we going now? And we were in Bankhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I thought that's what was canceled.
No.
Bankhead was canceled.
Buckhead was canceled.
Oh,
we were in
Bankhead.
Bankhead. Okay. We were in Bankhead.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we were in Bankhead.
And they're still alive.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you made it out.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it out.
No, I went to go on a walk the first morning, and they were like, don't do that.
Yeah. Don't even do it.
Don't do it. I was like, oh, okay. I was just trying to be like, oh, well, I mean, how bad can it be? It's like, Craig's like, it's every episode of the first 48.
30 spots. You don't even want to even drop that.
Yeah. Who was the player?
Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, Jamal Lewis says, you're not staying there, are you?
Yeah.
He wouldn't stay. Yeah.
I was like, well, can you hook us up? Like, Jamal, help me out.
I know you said Bankhead. Now you done changed my whole perspective. Bankhead,
hey, we were there from Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah.
We made it a week.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it out.
We stopped there. We went to go get our credentials or get something to eat. I came back, ended up being driven downtown to the Omni.
Right.
I never went back to see them again. I'd see them in the morning at the
place.
Yeah.
But I ain't going over there with y'all at.
No.
You do. Y'all can come over here.
You have an enormous and bright and fun personality.
Mm-hmm.
Has it always been you this way, and where did that come from?
I don't know. I'm the type of energy guy, in the locker room, everybody want to talk to me. Yeah, when we around. But, when you looking at me, you don't think I'm that way. But, everybody know my personality is, very, I don't know how to explain it. I'll just
Gregarious, is that the right word?
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Gregarious, yeah. Man, it's great to get to know you. I know Craig. I got to know him by phone for one of his other guys, Kendall Paul, who's the small school guy that ran a 4.27. Yeah,
flying.
Yeah, flying. Unbelievable.
How many of those 40s is a 40? Is that 1.5 for you?
3.
Craig, thank you for bringing it by, man. Great to see you. It's fantastic. Good luck with what you're doing and the journey you have in front of me. And
Appreciate it.
I mean, pro scouts are going to love you. And I know they're going to watch you on film, and they're going to like that too, but they're going to love you, your personality. Don't ever lose that.
For sure. Never. I done had it all my life.
Philip Wilder from Cincinnati,
Appreciate it,
from
man.
Georgia
Yep.
originally, and this is 365 Sports.
Developed by Startup Waco, a nonprofit organization, GXG is a program designed to support the entrepreneurial development of Baylor University student athletes through NIL activations. The program helps student athletes maximize their platforms and offers a comprehensive support system for them to create and grow new businesses that not only benefit themselves, but also uplift the local economy. Fans who wish to support student athletes can donate to GXG via the GXG NIL Fund, BaylorBears.com/GXG. Contributions to support NIL activations through GXG can be made at BaylorBears.com/GXG. For more information, follow @GXG_GreenXGold on social media and visit the official website www.gxg.startupwaco.com. GXG, empowering student athlete entrepreneurship and uplifting the local economy through NIL activations.
Mickey Spagnola joins us here at the Star, Frisco Cowboys headquarters, and Big 12 Pro Days going on, and Mickey's here because his office is like, 100 yards from here?
Sort of. I walked over, yeah.
You were here yesterday, didn't drop by. Clarence Hill did. Jacques Taylor did. Kyle Yeomans did. And you were,
Well, you know what
playing
happened?
hard to get.
So I thought I had to go through the lobby of the
Mhm.
Omni to get my credential, but then it was right there at the end.
Yep.
And then when they gave me this one, I said, well, I can go anywhere I want.
Yeah.
So
well, I thought you could anyway.
So
Like-
I probably could have, right?
Yep.
And then I just went down and I was on the field, so I never walked by here. I forgot you guys did this all the time.
Yeah, I did it last year. First year they did it, and they did it again this year, and it's just great coverage. We've had a lot of different prospects and stuff, which is, that's the time.
Right.
These guys, some of these guys can run a 40 today that might launch them into somebody's radar, or they could also, it could be an issue. But this is really the nuts and bolts of professional franchise. We hear about the free agent signings, but it all comes down that you have to draft well, which McKai and the Cowboys have done. Can you try to describe the work of scouts and how tireless they can be?
Yeah. I mean, I looked around here yesterday when I was on the field, and I ran into a couple of the Cowboys scouts, and I go, am I too old to change careers? This is cool. And they go, yeah, you are.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
I said,
saw
I
some of
can
them.
tell if the guy's hips can turn,
Yeah.
right, or the speed, or if these running backs can catch the ball down the field. It's not rocket science, right? But again, one of the things I think gets overlooked at a lot of this stuff is, and I don't know how much they let the players be available for this, but like during the combine, the interviews are really important.
I've talked to an agent. You may not have heard this story. His name is Kendall Paul. He's at East Texas A&M, which used to be East Texas State. I think Harvey Martin went there.
Yeah.
And A&M Commerce. He had a pro day like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Ran a 4.27. He's going to run another one like tomorrow or the next day at UNT. And the scouts want to see where he's going to run it again. If he runs another one like 4.35 or something like that, he goes from no one knows him, spindly kid, tough as he's from that school, and that's how you get seen. Which reminds me, no matter what's happened with the Cowboys or disappointments in the postseason or last year's team that just didn't work out, McKai has done a remarkable job with the draft. They have drafted well. Not everybody, because nobody's perfect. But explain why he's been successful.
Well, I think if you look at the positioning in the draft sometime, and I started making a chart, right, and I don't have the numbers right off the top of my head, but if you're drafting in the top 15, the Cowboys have done really well. When you're drafting 20 and below, it's a little sketchy, because here's what happens, and I'm talking first round.
Sure.
They usually only have 12 to 15 guys with a first-round grade. And by time you're drafting in the mid-20s to late 20s, you're drafting second-round guys, but they get tagged with a first-round perception, right? And not all those guys do as well as if you're drafting number 12, right?
Sure.
Look what they've done in the top 15 in the draft. I should say, I'll go top 16, 17, so I can include C.D. Lamb and Zach Martin. You drafting guys that are potential Hall of Famers. But when you get into the 20s, it gets a little sketchy.
Let me ask you this, because we've had Eric Galco, who runs the East-West Shrine game up here now. He was used to be out in California, and he was what was it, OptimumScouting.com. Great guy. Like, he is wired. He mentioned how many first-round grades. John Cooper from Our Lad's Guide. What's the most you've ever heard of off the top of your head that actually had first-round grades? There's 32 picks. There were 30. There were 20-something. Has it ever been more than about 20?
I don't think so. And the other day, I did ask Will McKai. I said, so help me with this. If I'm trying to write this story, give me an average of where the first-round grades end. And he said normally 15 to 17, 18. And then after that, it's probably second-round grades, but you got a first-round pick. And if you're drafting that late in the first round, that guy's not going to be there that late in the second round, so you end up taking the guy. And a lot of times that's where teams start moving out and figuring, well, if I can get that guy in the top of the second and this guy wants to move up, I'll do that.
Yeah, but let somebody else make
look who's here.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I said 12:15.
Nothing like being on time.
12:15. I walked in the door at 12:15.
But you know what? You and I go by the Nick Saban rule.
Yeah.
12:15 means you're late.
At the Joe Avazano rule, right? When they had special teams meeting out at the ranch.
Sorry, I was over here eating lunch with my cousin, and the games were on, and I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, you did. You were late, but that's okay.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll run some stadiums. It'll be good. We'll make it up. But,
no, you won't.
I want to see that.
I mean, mine is just one step.
If you do that, all of a sudden, you never know. A guy from the Packers go, hey, we found ourselves a lineman.
Yeah.
And this guy doesn't have a number on his black jersey.
Yeah. Look, I'm 5'7" nose tackle. Like, there's so many of those out there. So, let somebody else make the mistake on that quarterback that they're so desperate to get because they didn't get him early, right? Let them come in and do that. Let's have the Steelers do it. Like, they kind of stay where they are and they draft their board. And then if somebody else wants to come in and take a quarterback that, is really a second or third rounder, but they're desperate, they let them do it. The Cowboys have actually been pretty good about that. They're really good at this part of it. For the most part.
Yeah.
Like he was talking about Will McKai. Will McKai is probably better at this than anybody in the Cowboys organization is at anything. Like, he's better at drafting in college than C.D. Lamb is a wide receiver. He is that good at it. He just has this eye, and it's amazing what he's been able to do.
Well, I think if you look at his background, he played at Houston when he was in college, and then he ended up scouting for a while. And then he got into the Arena League as a scout, defensive coordinator, and then he became a head coach in the Arena League. So he's been around doing a lot of different stuff, but it's all in football since he got to the University of Houston. So again, or was it Rice? I was doubting myself. I thought it was Houston. But anyway, and he has a keen eye. And let me give you an example. So every week on the coach's show, he does a segment on the board, right? And he'll kind of do something with a position of the other team. And he was doing running backs one day when I was in there, and he's looking at the formation, and he goes, okay, if they run the ball, it's going to the left, and the linebacker knows to take a step there immediately. And I go, how do you know that? And he goes, well, if the running back's left of the quarterback, he's not going right because there's going to be a collision. So naturally, the linebacker says, okay, it's going left, is it? And I said, well, what happens if he's behind the quarterback? And he goes, that's when you got to read because you can go either way, right? But all these years, I never and then one day I was watching the game on Saturday, and I'm going, okay, I got it. So he's pretty. He could coach in this league, but he's a scout.
But not every coach could GM, not every GM can coach,
right.
not every scout can do that. That's what makes
and
it
that's
unique.
sometimes where you get in the draft, and if the assistant coaches that aren't doing this all the time start getting opinions, you got to be careful because the scouts have been out there watching this stuff.
If, in fact, you draft well in the first round, those are perhaps, as you said, guys that could end up in the Hall of Fame, as every round has Hall of Famers. But what's the round that you have to have a money play? Cowboys like Dak Prescott's a fourth-round pick. People can debate on what, but has a hell of a choice for what he's done. What round, other than the first round, do you have to have? You have to hit it.
I think the third. I think you got to hit in the third because there's still good players there, and those guys, I would imagine their grade is eventually potential starter. Now, it may not happen that first year, but by the second or third year, you really need to depend on your third rounders to step up and play. And if you look at, what they got with DeMarvin and Overshown, then, that was if they can just keep his knees healthy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, again, but I think the third round. And they've done pretty well in the third rounds because a lot of people forget when they traded down to get Travis Frederick at the end of the first round, they also got a third-round pick, and it happened to be the wide receiver from Baylor, Terrence Williams. And you got a 2-4 instead of just taking a guy where you were sitting.
Yeah. Well, last thing, because we got McKai Bernard coming up here, but Mickey, in the first three rounds, I would say you want a starter, a contributor, and then a potential guy, right? Where you okay, maybe they're not all three starting, but two of them are at least, one's starting, one's contributing to a level that's valuable, and the third one is also contributing, but maybe not to that other level.
But you got a better chance this year of hitting on those first three picks because you're at 12.
Yeah.
Right? So the 12th pick in the second round's pretty high.
Yeah.
And then the 12th pick in the third round, unless there's some ties in there and you got to move around, you got a really good opportunities. And with the number of the fifth-round picks they ended up with the compensatory picks, then you can move up a couple spots with a fifth to, enhance something if there's something there you really like.
Thing for me, and then thanks for your time for coming over here today and actually acknowledging us. They've picked up free agents. Most of them are one-year deals. They got the 2-year deal on the Solomon Thomas, who was a heck of a player. But is there anything else out there, or are those guys all picked over? Is it all just going to be selective, smart, efficient? There's not going to be any bang. All those guys gone.
Well, let's put it this way. And when somebody said judge the guys they got, I said, well, number one, follow the money. Number two, follow the years. So the money, Kenneth Murray Jr., linebacker, right? He's $7.4 million on the last year of his contract. That's one of the reasons why they didn't have to give up so much, because Tennessee knew if they wanted to, dump him, well, somebody's not going to give me a lot. He's our leading tackler, but he's in the last year of his contract. The other guy, Solomon Thomas, a 2-year deal, right? The rest of the guys are all 1-year deals. I was looking at maybe a sleeper guy, Peyton Turner, the defensive end from New Orleans, was a first-round pick of the Saints. And I was like, how good is this guy? I looked at his 4 years, and he kind of only played 31 games. And I'm going, it's a throwaway, right? Well, I start digging into it. He's been hurt. 1 year he spent all but 2 games on injured reserve. 2 other years he spent time on injured reserve, so he couldn't stay healthy, right? But coming out of the draft, people looked at him and said, well, a second round probably. Well, he was the 28th pick in the first round. He's got the measurables, 6'7", 270. I saw where he had 35-inch arms, which I guess those are long. And his shuttle time, the 20-yard shuttle time was a tenth of a second more than what the cornerbacks were running. So I'm going, there's something there with this guy, but if you can keep him healthy, maybe you struck gold.
And maybe we'll wrap it up. Maybe he's not a combine warrior, but a football player. That's you got to get him to get from one to the other. Thanks, buddy.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy your time here.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Cincinnati running back Cory with us, 365 Sports at Big 12 Pro Days in Frisco. Love your style. Love watching you. We follow you. We covered the Big 12 quite a bit. Had a couple of your linemen on. They said that it was even easier to block and do everything they could because they knew you were behind them. Isn't that one of the ultimate compliments for a running back?
Oh, yeah, yes, sir. They did a great job this last season, even the season before, giving me a back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons. It's great to have old linemen like that.
What is that? I mean, the last, at least statistically for you. I mean, I know that you guys didn't hit the goals you wanted to, but statistically for you, how much does that help this process early on to have those numbers in that film and in the style that you guys play, which is run blocking, seem very NFL-like?
Yes, sir. It meant a lot. Just being able to do it one time was good, but being able to do it back-to-back seasons kind of solidified that and let the scouts know that I am who they think I am.
So you started off at LSU originally, and then 3 years ago transferred to Cincy, spent 3 seasons there. What did you learn about Cincinnati as far as just a program and just a spot and being there, being from there, just like kind of what was that full circle moment like to be a part of that these last couple of years?
Just coming from LSU, coming back down, we weren't Power 5 when I first went to Cincy.
Right.
So it was just having an underdog mindset. A lot of guys overlooked us, especially coming into the Big 12. A lot of people overlooked us, didn't think we had the athletes to compete. And, it didn't go the way that we wanted it, but we're building that program, building that culture in the program to possibly compete, actually.
So you guys obviously had the playoff success right before you all came in. There were still the doubters. What did you learn, though, about life in the Big 12? Is there anything that was substantially different? Is there anything that you think moving forward the program kind of tweaks or I guess improves to where they're on the level winning-wise that you expect them to be?
It's going to continue to be a tough-nosed program. I feel like it's tough enough to compete. We got the athletes to compete. We got the coaches to compete. We just got to do it. And I feel like they will these next coming seasons. They will be able to compete. Big 12 is a great conference, and I feel like we belong.
Did you had 6 100-yard games? So how would you describe how you run? Some guys are thought of as a thoroughbred. Some guys are bangers. Some guys are like grinders. What are you?
I would describe my running style like a boxing match. I could come out like Mike Tyson and I could hit you in the mouth and knock you out, or it could be a slow match, and it could take you 12 rounds to get me, or it could take me 12 rounds to get you. But slowly you will be defeated.
I love it. I love it.
You were rope-a-dope.
Yeah, a little rope-a-dope. You were Mr. Ohio football. And then you go to LSU and you come back. There's a lot of guys. I didn't realize it until talking to Kendra yesterday, how many guys from Cincinnati or the greater Cincinnati area came back and played or stayed there. There is an immense amount of civic pride for that town. What was it that outside of maybe just homesickness, where you felt you fit better back at home than you were somewhere else?
The culture. I can go outside. I can go walk around campus and see professors that taught my teachers in high school, or my teachers had those professors when they were in college and all that kind of stuff. And my grandmother went to Cincinnati, UC. So I have that connection with the city, with the campus, and it's just a great place to call home. So when I came back, it was like a seamless transition.
You performed at the scouting combine. So what did you want to get done out here this week and kind of show for the scouts that are in attendance?
Just show that I wanted to compete. It would have been easy just to not do anything, but I wanted to come out here and compete, show them that I can catch, show them that I can run routes, and show them that I can continue to do everything. There's a lot of people that want to be in my position. It's a lot of people that would like to be at Big 12 Pro Day or like to have a Pro Day, but some people just don't have that opportunity. So I want to take advantage of every opportunity given.
That's a great mindset to have. What was that experience like? I mean, just today, what have you thought about what you've experienced, and then also the combine? I'd imagine that's a dream come true for a lot of guys. So just this whole thing, man. I mean, it's all real to you now. What's that like?
Yes, sir. So it's like a stressful situation, but it's a good stress. Like you mentioned, it's something that I've been dreaming about since a kid, since I knew what football was. I've been dreaming to get my opportunity, and right now I'm getting that opportunity. So I'm just trying to make the most of it.
You had a chance coming out of high school to go wherever you wanted. You chose LSU. Then you had a chance to transfer. You chose Cincinnati. Now you don't have a choice because you're going to get drafted. Is that different, not knowing exactly where you're going to go?
Yeah, yes, sir. So the uncertainty is kind of unsettling for a little bit. But it's like I mentioned, a lot of people want this opportunity. A lot of people know what they're doing tomorrow. They got to get up and go to work. And some people are doing jobs that they don't want to do. I get to wake up in the morning. I get to lift some weights. I get to go run into people for a living. Like I wouldn't trade that for
legally run into people.
I get to legally run into people for a living, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. So whether I'm in California, Florida, wherever I am, wherever I get my opportunity, I just want to make the best of it.
That is a great way to put it. You're a bit. You got a little bit of bowling ball style, and you can go. You can switch gears. What is the feeling like? I like to ask this to athletes, for people who've never experienced it, that break a couple tackles. Use your power, and then all of a sudden, it's just there. It's just green grass in front of you. What's that feeling like?
It's like a great feeling. Like when you got a test all week in school and you've been studying for it, and then you get done with the test and you get to go enjoy the weekend on the Friday. It's like that. Like, I've been practicing all week. I ran through people. They thought they were going to tackle me. They didn't tackle me, and now I busted open. Now I can run, go score a touchdown. It's like that feeling, like a Friday.
Do you have a favorite touchdown that you've ever scored? One that sticks out to you?
Favorite touchdown? Probably my first touchdown in college. LSU, we playing against McNeese. It was like a 26-yard rush, I'm pretty sure, my freshman year. And that was probably my favorite touchdown just because it was my first. And, everybody was surprised. It was kind of the end of the game, and nobody was expecting us to do anything. They were just letting the freshmen play.
Sure.
And then I ran and scored, and then the coach was like, all right, we got to get this guy an opportunity. he might be able to do something.
So you played they're at LSU there for the year, which is known as one of the best stadiums, home atmospheres. But Nippert, I think, is up there as well. Would you agree? As far as I think we were talking to Kendra yesterday, and we were just talking about the atmosphere there at Nippert. What's it like to play in front of that home crowd for you, especially, and just kind of the atmosphere for people who haven't experienced it before?
Yes, sir. And it goes back to our mindset at Cincy. It's a smaller stadium, so a lot of people think, okay, we're coming in, it won't be that hectic of an atmosphere.
Yeah.
But you come in and the stadium's rocking, the student section's yelling at you and cheering on our team. The fans are behind the sidelines watching us and cheering on everybody. And it's a great environment. It's a hostile environment for opponents, but it's a great environment for the home team.
Did you have a place that you enjoyed playing the most, and maybe in the Big 12 this year, or one that stood out to you at all?
Texas Tech.
Texas
Tech.
That's typically one of the answers.
It was loud, and I got hit in the face with a tortilla. I got hit in the face with a tortilla.
That happens.
And I'm like, do I throw it back at him?
Here's the deal. If you weren't so worried about what had happened to it before it came down, I think that the baller move would be to just bite it. Yeah. But God knows, you could get food poisoning or something. Who knows? Where that been, you have no idea. But you just I would love to see somebody take one and throw it back. Score a touchdown, grab the tortilla, throw it back up there.
Yes, sir.
The group of running backs in the Big 12. Like R.J. Harvey's not here, but that Ollie Gordon, DJ Giddens, obviously Devin Neal, Taj Brooks. I could go. We just had McKai Bernard, and there's many others. What a group of running backs. Did you recognize that throughout the year?
Oh yeah, yes sir. even before we joined the Big 12, it was like that.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout this whole combine pro day process, I've got to meet each and every one of those guys, and they are great people. And they just drive you to compete. Every week. You see those guys' stats. You see if you're watching the news and all that kind of stuff. You see those guys popping up across the screen, and it's like, dang, I'm competing with those guys, and it's like, great people, great players.
Okay, I know you said anywhere you go is fine, but you're a Cincinnati guy. The Bengals do need a running back. They need some of that. If that call came, would that be just the full circle you were talking about?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Playing for the Bengals would mean a lot. If I was given that opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, like I assume you're a Bengals, being from Cincinnati, that you're part of the Houday Nation as just a kid. But were you?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
my whole family were Bengals fans. So
Yeah.
every Sunday we would go to my grandmother's house and we would take the TV outside, put it on the deck, grill and watch the Bengals games. Growing up watching Ocho Cinco, T.J. Houshmandzadeh, Rudy Johnson, all those guys. You know, it was a great experience growing up. Just seeing Chad do those touchdown dances, and if you ask the team every Thursday when we're doing walkthroughs and stuff like that, I'll score a touchdown. I'll do a touchdown dance.
Finish it out with this. You 300 or so with LSU, then Cincinnati, then 2,000-yard years, 2 good, solid years. What's it like to succeed? Yes, the record wasn't what you wanted, especially last year, but what was it like to have that kind of climb the ladder of success?
I feel like it's a testament to who I am as a person and who I am as a man. I didn't get to have that success early on in my career, but I kept working every single day, and I waited for my opportunity. And when I was able to get that opportunity, I ran off with it. So just for any kid listening who thinks it's not, that time isn't coming, keep working. You never know when your opportunity will be here.
Great way to look at life, man. Thank you, Cory. Appreciate your time.
Thank you,
Cory
guys.
Kiter, Cincinnati with us. We're in Frisco at Big 12 NFL Pro Days on 365 Sports.
You might ask yourself what functional mushrooms are good for. Whether it's lion's mane, cordyceps, turkey tail, shiitake, reishi, they all serve a purpose.
You have ones for neurological health, ones for sleeping and gut health and all these different areas. They pack a powerful punch.
Functional mushrooms are, of the millions of mushrooms and fungi out there, the ones that we can actually ingest and benefit from as humans.
Like all adaptogens, they kind of adapt to what you need at the time that you need them.
We don't even really know that we're suffering. We just don't quite feel right. That's where these adaptogens come in and really start to close the gap and really start getting us closer to how we want to feel.
Functional mushrooms have definitely re-energized me and helped me face each day with a new vigor for life.
Learn ways that functional mushrooms can help you. go to getumble.com.
You spent hours selecting your patio sofa. Choosing that grill would have taken weeks. Probably your car needed way more time. For sure, you would have spent months mulling over that pool of yours. Protecting your prized possessions needs no time, though. Just visit coversandall.com, create a custom size per your requirements, pick a fabric, and personalize your cover. And leave the rest to us. Premium protection for all that you love.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5, brought to you by Ticket Club. Forget the fees, just big savings. Click the link in the description to find out more.
Welcome into the Top 5. I'm Paul Catalina, Garrett Ross alongside Emery Winter also producing. Today, I know it looks different, Emery Winter absconded with a small piece of our equipment that we use to use the board. He took it with him to Big 12 Pro Day, and we don't have it anymore. So I'm going to do this, and this is going to be the top 5 for today. So our apologies that it's a little bit different, but in the spirit of doing it right, we're going to do the top 5. These are my top 5 most intriguing players from Big 12 Pro Day. Number 5, former Baylor basketball player and BYU basketball player Caleb Lohner, now a tight end from Utah, is in the draft. A lot of teams find these kind of guys intriguing. Look, Antonio Gates didn't play college football. I said Antonio Gates. Tony Gonzalez only played a little bit of college football, and he's a Hall of Famer. Jeremy Shockey was a basketball player in high school. Jimmy, what's his name, Garrett? Jimmy Graham from the Saints. Why am I forgetting this? Jimmy Graham, a basketball player as well. They had a lot of basketball talent at tight end throughout the league. Rayfield Wright, former Cowboys Hall of Fame at left tackle, not a tight end, but a basketball player in college that our dear departed friend Gil Brandt discovered. So, Caleb Lohner has a ton of potential. Will he be Rico Gathers and a guy that, Rico probably would have been a little bit better had he dedicated himself completely to football. He wasn't really all in. Caleb, after talking to him yesterday, he feels all in about being a football player. So we'll see. He's going to have to play his way up the hardest way possible, get a free agent contract more than likely, or go to the UFL, something like that, play more, get more downs and reps at football, and we'll see. But he's super athletic and tall and can make big plays. Garrett Green, wide receiver Garrett Green from West Virginia, not quarterback, wide receiver. Look, he's a small guy. He's not going to kind of cut it at quarterback in the league, but he's very fast, very athletic. He played wide receiver in high school. He is someone who can fill in the slot. He can probably return some kicks, play some special teams, and help out a team. He's got a nose for the end zone. He's got a nose for playmaking. It is just a knack that certain guys have. Garrett Green has it. Number 3, Cory Black, defensive back, Waco native from Oklahoma State, ran a 4.35. Now look, his numbers at Oklahoma State are okay. They're good. They're good enough to warrant an NFL look. But that 4.35 really puts him over the top because you cannot teach that. He is that fast and that good. And perhaps a lot of the Oklahoma State guys this year, like Colin Oliver, who we're going to talk about in a second, but maybe Brennan Presley or any other guys. Ollie Gordon's going to be underdrafted because of the way that team performed this year, and it's not a fair indication possibly of their overall talent. That could have been just a good team on a bad year. A lot of talented players there. Number 2, Colin Oliver from Oklahoma State. Linebacker, defensive end, a sack machine. Knows how to get after the quarterback and get in the backfield. He's a bit of a tweener size-wise. He's a bit of a tweener speed-wise. But he has a nose for the ball, and those guys always make NFL teams. The linebackers are the position that always gets it gets a little caught up in the numbers because everybody wants the next Lawrence Taylor. But then there's guys like Dat Wynn and Sam Mills and Zach Thomas, all out there. Colin Oliver, watch out for him. I really like his game, and he is healthy now. And number 1, Baylor defensive line, outside linebacker, pass rusher, Garmin Randolph. He is tall, he is fast, he is very athletic. He went through a bunch of different system kind of flexes and position flexes in college. If the pros can find a spot for him, he can help your team. Plus, you cannot teach 6'7", 275 of lean muscle and speed. So he's very intriguing and can do a lot of things in the NFL if the light comes on and given the right opportunity. That's going to do it for the top 5. That's going to do it for the show. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed our Pro Day content, and thanks to all of our sponsors. We love you. Good night, everybody.